All right, so again, are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. Tonight, the WSL continues as West Ham take on Arsenal. It's the Hammers against the Gunners, and while West Ham may feel like they're going in with a blunt object to a knife fight, or into a gunfight, they've been in these situations before and they've upset big teams. It was 2 years ago that West Ham beat Arsenal with Hawa Sissoko scoring a belter. Last season, they could have got a win if it wasn't for Kirsty Smith grabbing the ball. Well, I don't think that's a fair description of what happened, Harry, but they've had opportunities to beat Arsenal before, so this is by no means a foregone conclusion.
That is true, but they have only beaten Arsenal once in their history, so it goes both ways. But either way, I think it will be a very, very interesting game. West Ham tonight are going to have to up the standard from Matchweek 1 because they were miles off it against Tottenham, and yes, they probably deserve to lose. Did Tottenham deserve to win? No. Both sides deserve nothing from that football match. But West Ham are going to have to play better tonight if they want to get something out of this game against a higher quality opposition in Arsenal, who opened the season pretty nicely. A big win against London City. I think a lot of people got caught out by the fact that Arsenal won that so convincingly. But to be honest, I'm not surprised. We knew that going into that game that London City weren't going to be as good as everyone thought they were going to be. But a different test for Arsenal. I thought it was very interesting, Slager's comments about how the Gunners are going to have to use every tool in their toolbox to beat West Ham this evening, and I think that's kind of right. West Ham, although it may not show, they have had a knack for being very, very good against the big sides in the league, and they've got some, put up some very, very good fights, even though they haven't got the results. So tonight is no different. I'm expecting another well-spirited, well-fought performance from West Ham, and it's up to Arsenal to turn up and to make sure that there isn't any chance of any kind of upset happening this evening, because the last thing Arsenal need is to be dropping points in game week 2. They started really strongly last time out. They need to back that up tonight, though, with another win. 2 wins on the trot, and suddenly they're top of the game at the end of the evening.
Yeah, top of the game. That's exactly what they want to be. Top of the game, don't they, Harry? But West Ham will be doing their best to try and prevent that. And West Ham with a shape change, it looks like, at least on paper. So let's get into the lineups. We'll start with the hosts tonight. We are at the Chigwell Construction Stadium in Dagenham, Essex. A wonderful arena for football. And we'll start with the Hammers team. It looks on paper like a 5-2-3 for West Ham tonight. In goal, an injury to Kinga Zemic rules her out of contention, so it's Megan Walsh who starts between the sticks. In the back five, it's Dent, Zadorsky, Nystrom, Tisiak and Hanshaw. Across the midfield too, it looks like Gori and Siren, and then a front three of Asayi, Martinez and Uweki. Are you surprised to see West Ham go a little bit more defensive in this game, Harry, or do you think that was expected?
Yes and no. Of course, we expect every side with weaker opposition to go pretty defensive. We see it a lot where these sides lower down the table do go for that 5-back, try and put 11 players behind the ball against the bigger sides. But part of me thinks it's almost admitting defeat tonight for West Ham. I think they've had the most joy they get. The reason I said they're good at taking the fight to these big sides is they go aggressive, they take them on, and they make an exciting game. Like when they lost to Arsenal 4-3 last season. Games like that, we've seen West Ham go and take the game to Chelsea and cause problems in the final third. And West Ham last season scored 3 at Arsenal. They scored against Chelsea. They scored against Manchester United. So it does surprise me a little bit to see them go defensive tonight. I think they're almost, when you do sit defensive, you almost put too much pressure on yourselves, and the bigger side with the better players just walk into your penalty area and they score because you're sat too deep. And I think that maybe Rayanne Skinner has shot her side in the foot tonight by sitting so deep. I think they've got to back themselves. They've got better quality. They've got some very, very good players. I mean, better quality than they appreciate. Well, not better quality than Arsenal, obviously, but they've got some really, really good players amongst their ranks. They've got players who can go out and hurt Arsenal tonight. I think you're stunting them by dropping them into a really low system, because if you can be aggressive, get yourself on the ball and get that front three of into the game, then suddenly they're on the money. So I understand somewhat why they've gone defensive. We see every side do it nowadays, who are towards the bottom of the table. But I think West Ham have got the quality to be a little bit more aggressive and to try and take the game to Arsenal tonight. But we'll see what happens.
It's worth caveating that a 3-back isn't inherently defensive. A 3-back doesn't mean a low block. We could see them play a little bit higher. And I think when you look at how London City set up against Arsenal, for the first 20 minutes, they were able to keep Arsenal at bay. It was only when they had a moment of brilliance from Olivia Smith that I think a few players for London City failed to deal with effectively that we saw a breakthrough for Arsenal. So to pose it another way, I think looking at that West Ham team, could they just absorb some pressure and look to be much better in transition than London City were? Because look at that front three. And if they can get those players in behind, looking to break on Arsenal, we know Arsenal aren't great in transition because McCabe likes to push high and Fox isn't the most defensive fullback. Yes, at times they do sit in a situational back three, but even a sit back three is going to struggle against a front three who attack with numbers. So I think there is something to be said for that, in that could West Ham just become very transitional tonight and cause issues for Arsenal in that way. And let's have a look then at the Arsenal team. No real surprises in terms of formation tonight. It's a 4-2-3-1 for the Gunners. In goal, Daphne Van Domselaar, of course, retaining her starting berth. The back four remains the same with Fox, Reed, Catley and McCabe. In the pivot, it's Little and Caldente. And the only change in this side comes in the midfield three in front of that. It's Ford, Freedom Arnhem and Beth Mead. Three players who made an impact from the bench. And leading the line, Alessia Russo. Are you surprised, Harry, to see such changes in the Arsenal side? We saw those three substitutions come on and have an impact, make a bit of a difference in that game. Are you surprised to see them come in as starters, though?
I'm surprised to a certain extent, yes. Obviously, I agree with rewarding players that play well, and that's why this is a little bit difficult, because all three of them came off the bench and looked really sharp in the London City game. But I think it's a little... And obviously, rotation is part of the modern game. I think it's just a little bit risky to swap out your three more attacking midfielders, to change both wide players and the player in the 10. Obviously, they're all very, very good players and they've all been at the club for a while, but that's a very big change in the final third, because it's apart from Russo, it's a completely different front four, and that for me is going to be very interesting how that works and whether that is something that will work for us. I mean, it may work, of course it might. They're all used to playing with each other. It's not. I'm not. I can't really sit here and say that. Oh, well, they're going to be able to link up properly because they all played with each other for the last few years now. But I'm intrigued to see how quick that adjustment is, because consistency, as much as rotation is now a big part of the game, consistency is also massive. So to make three changes in the final third is going to be interesting to see how that works. Credit to Slagers though, because I can't criticise her too much, because my biggest criticism of her last season was that she didn't rotate enough. Yeah. Now I'm complaining that she might rotate a bit too much, so or just too much in one specific area. So I'm intrigued to see how it all play out. But overall, I think the fact that she's rotating is a massive, massive boost to Arsenal, because it shows that not only have they got the quality in squad depth, but it also shows that Slagers is developing as a manager and is now getting better at using her squad rather than just one set 11.
What I will say, though, is I don't think that either combination of wingers has been entirely complementary. I think towards the second half of the first half, I should say, when they swapped Kelly and Smith momentarily, I thought that looked stronger for Arsenal. But I would still say that with Kelly and Smith, you've got two players who are difference makers, two players who will create a chance out of nothing. And I just look at the Arsenal wide players tonight and I don't see who does that. Mead it can be a very creative player at times, but she's more of an out-and-out finisher. And I think Caitlin Ford is great at making those back post runs and getting goals there. But is she going to be a creator? I mean, obviously they've got creators in the squad. I'm not doubting that at all. Mariona Caldente, Katie McCabe, even Emily Fox, if she's allowed a bit of license to get forward, are great creators. But in terms of someone in that midfield three just behind the striker, where does that creativity come from? That's the question for me. I just don't understand the decision to play the same wingers of Ford and Mead. I just think they're not entirely complementary, because they'd both rather play on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, Ford's decent on both wings, so I don't think it's a huge problem. Mead can do a job on both wings, but I just wonder whether they're using their wingers entirely complementarily.
Yeah, I mean, if someone with Caitlin Ford in their area fantasy team, I'm hoping that she does great on the right-hand side. I'm hoping she'll have a great game.
I was worried you were going to transfer out for Kelly.
Yeah.
This would be your worst nightmare.
I was going to say, I was gutted last week when she didn't play, because I missed out on a haul of points. But yeah, I think that it again, that is something that I think Slagers will work out. Which, yes, it's good that she's rotating, but I think that she will get there in terms of who to rotate when. Because you do have to balance it and you do have to work it out and just manage your team very, very well. And I think eventually she will get that bunch of wingers right. I think that again, I think it also comes down to it won't be the same combination every time. It won't be the same two sets of wingers rotating. I think across the season we'll see different wingers play with each other. But I think it's interesting that is the only area of the pitch that is rotated tonight. I think the midfield battle for me is going to be really interesting because there's a chance it just doesn't exist. Because I think the Arsenal pivot of Quarantine and Little is good. Obviously, it's got some good players in it, but I think it's very easy to get on top of. But they're up against a midfield pivot of Gorey and Siren, and I know Katrina Gorey will run like mad, but overall, it's too. The thing is, it's really weird because I look at both these midfields and go, they could get overrun tonight, but then I look at the opposite one and go, well, they're not going to overrun each other. So I don't think it's weird because if West Ham set up like this against a 3-player midfield, I'd be worried. If Arsenal set up like this against a 3-player, same way, but because they're both playing, a 2-player midfield against each other, I think they should be okay. I'm intrigued to see what Kim Litt was like tonight because I doubted her a little. I think she had some poor performances last season. I don't think she looked particularly brilliant in the London City game.
I was surprised to see a stat about Kim Little. She had the 3rd highest pass success rate out of the entire league in Matchweek 1. She had, I think, a 95% pass success rate. And I think what I drew from that is that, one, obviously you can't just look at a stat and go, well, then she was great at passing, because I think she made a lot of passes, and so naturally that was going to be a bit higher. But I do think there was a lot of sloppy mistakes, and I think as the game shifted, we saw Arsenal get a little bit more control towards the end, and so that definitely changed stats. But I did find that very interesting because I wouldn't have expected it to be that high, given that in the first 20 minutes it didn't feel like she could make a successful pass.
Yeah.
But obviously we know Kim Litt was an excellent player. I was just very surprised to see that statistic. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. This West Ham taking on Arsenal. Let's get into predictions. And I haven't welcomed anyone to the show. Apologies. There's been loads of chat in the live chat. Welcome all. I would go through all, but we are now getting underway. So it's time for predictions. Now I can interact with the live chat. Get involved. Give us your score line prediction, and we'll read them all out. We're going to start here in the studio, though, and we'll start with yourself, Harry. What is your prediction for this game?
I think West Ham will give a good game of it, but overall, I can't see. I can't see any other result that isn't an Arsenal win. I will say 3-1 to the Gunners. I think West Ham will start fast, get an early goal through Shakira Martinez. Everyone will be asking the questions, are they going to get something out of the game? But Arsenal will turn on the style in the second half, and I will say goals from Ford, Russo and Blackstenius off the bench to get the job done, and Arsenal to make it 2 wins from 2 in the first 2 match weeks.
Yeah, fair enough. I think Arsenal will be keen to keep a clean sheet tonight. I think the fact they conceded to London City was a bit disappointing. However, I don't think they're going to get that clean sheet. I think it'll be West Ham that will open the scoring, but Arsenal will ultimately win this game 2-1. I don't think it's going to be as comprehensive. I think it could be 3-1. I'm going to say 2-1. I will say the West Ham goal to be Martinez on the break. I think we'll go into half-time at 1-0 West Ham. Everyone panics, as they do, in their fan base, or just, in football in general. The team are losing at half-time, you panic. And then second half, Arsenal sort it out. And I think it'll be a goal from Mariona Caldente, probably a penalty. And then I will say from the bench, Olivia Smith. Another good, well-taken goal. And I think we'll start to see the importance that Smith could play in this Arsenal team this season. Few predictions coming in then. Yi Chen saying 3-0 Arsenal. Ryzen saying 3-2 Arsenal. 2 goals for Asai because they need the fantasy points. Fair enough. Yeah, I should have said Caldente hat-trick and a Van Dobslar assist or something. Chelmer going for 2-2. Alex G going 2-0 Arsenal. And Phil saying 4-1. Reed, Mariona, Mead and Kelly off the bench to get the goals. Tissiak with the West Ham goal. Rogue shout. Paul saying Kelly out with a knock. Yeah, Kelly not involved in the squad. So Phil, you might want to change your prediction slightly there. But yeah, that goes some way to explain perhaps Arsenal's selection this evening in terms of those wide areas.
Yeah, it does, potentially. And maybe would have only seen one of the wingers, traded out, and it would have been a lot less, heavy on the rotation in a certain area. The other player I'm intrigued to look out for is Katie Reid tonight. I thought that she had a really weird game against London City. I thought the first 15-20 minutes she looked really shaky, but then after that looked very, very comfortable. So I'm intrigued to see where she will settle in today. I think that is something West Ham will look to target, is that Arsenal centre-half pairing. Get Asai, get Martinez, get Ueki running at those 2 centre-halves and see what can happen, see if you can get them to crack. It's what London City did. They turned the ball over, they got up the pitch, and they won a penalty off it. And Katie Reid did recover well after that error, and I thought she actually had a very, very good game after that. But I think it's something West Ham have got to look to pry on and got to try and catch out. And As we saw, as you say, Arsenal in transition can be a bit vulnerable. West Ham are brilliant on the break, so there's a chance West Ham score tonight. I just think Arsenal's quality will get them through the game no matter what.
I think with Katie Reid, I think the biggest thing was that she looked decent defensively. She did everything right defensively, but it was just the in possession stuff. I mean, obviously she made the mistake for the penalty, and that's a big defensive error, and that's why people look at that game and go, well, she made a huge mistake, so she obviously had a bad game. But I don't feel it was that way. I felt she was nervous in possession, but she dealt with Isabel Goodwin very well, and we know that Goodwin can be a handful for defenders. So, yeah, I think she showed maturity in that game, but she also showed a little bit of inexperience. And I think, that sounds a bit conflicting, but I think that's probably the best way to describe it. She, in terms of being a defender, she is a very good defender, but in terms of being a defender for Arsenal, you also need to be very good in possession and perhaps try and cut those mistakes out a little bit. But yeah, I thought she had a good start. It's her first start centre back. She did very well. West Ham get us underway in this game, and it's going to be a pump it into the corner and put pressure on Arsenal tactics. So it's Arsenal in possession from the off, and the pressure works as that effort from Catley is blocked and put onto the roof of the Chigwell Construction Stadium. Good start.
Great start.
What do you think of teams going long then in the WSL? We've seen a few teams try it across the opening week and now in this game. Hasn't worked for any of them yet.
No, I hate it. It's got into grassroots as well. Just put the ball down the kickoff and play football. Why are people smashing it into the corner and trying to press? Just get the ball down and play your stuff.
I like the first team to do it, and people when it's effective, it's brilliant. But if you're a side that doesn't want to have possession, I think it makes a lot of sense.
I genuinely think you could catch teams out by just playing football. Most teams now expect you to, especially if you set it up looking like you're going to go long, and then just start passing it around quickly and try and catch them out.
Gory. Here's Tisiak then, back to Walsh. And a big job for her tonight, stepping up in place of Kinga Zemic, who was crucial last season. Arsenal turn the ball over high up the pitch. Here's a chance for Russo. Can't quite make it into a good opportunity. Holds the ball up nicely, though. Here's Fox now on the right-hand side, and she'll opt to go backwards and retain possession instead of trying to force another attack. Now Reid. Under pressure from Ueki. She's going to be forced down the line. Tidy in there, though, from Beth Mead. Reid again. Now Caldente, who again is under pressure here from the West Ham team, but she plays down the line. It's into Mead. Mead plays it back inside. Caldente, little touch onto Fox. Not strong enough in the tackle there from Siren, and here come Arsenal. And Caldente can't quite drive that ball forwards. Cameraman was getting very excited, trying to catch a zoom angle, but nothing comes of it. Now Zadorsky finds herself under pressure. Nice pass up the line. Ueki's touch escapes her somewhat. Finds Little. Now into Caldente. And Arsenal back into possession. Alex asking, why does Lotta not deserve a start? I think that was a big question going into Matchweek 1. Why didn't we see Lotta Ruben-Moy? And I don't think I've seen Slagers answer that question at any point.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting conundrum that with Ruben-Moy and Kadena, really. Yet do I think they are the top quality, league-winning, trophy-winning centre-halves? No, but are they very capable of playing these WSL games? 100%.
Yeah, it's Arsenal in possession. Tidy from Russo into Marnham. Now down the line, looking for Beth Mead if she can keep this in touch. But the ball running off the end of the pitch and out for a West Ham goal kick. Yeah,
it's raining very heavily, and it has for the last few hours. And I think that will be interesting to see how that plays, because a lot of people don't think about those kind of things, but especially with West Ham in transition, moving that ball quickly, getting it from back to front, it's going to help. But it also works for Arsenal because it means they can pop the ball around quicker and find it easier to pull apart this West Ham defence.
Yeah, well, it's West Ham playing out from the back now. Walsh plays the pass forward and into the wide area here. Here's Anik Denton. West Ham trying to progress down the right-hand side. That escaping the control of Shakira Martinez, though, in a slightly unfamiliar position, playing off the right-hand side. I mean, obviously, we know she can play anywhere across that front three, but she was predominantly through the middle last season and for the Hammers. But that was when using a 4-4-2 or 3-5-2, and obviously in this game, preferring a front three. West Ham then playing down the right-hand side. Pass down the line. Looks for Martinez. Tries to touch it onto Denton. Good defending, though, from McCabe. She wins her side of throw. At the moment, West Ham are really struggling to play through Arsenal.
Yeah.
That's very noticeable.
I think they need to settle down. Walsh has come into starting goal. She'll want to get a few touches on the ball, have a few catches, a couple of easy saves to get comfortable. And West Ham just need to find a way to get some kind of foot on the ball.
Yeah.
Because you said they haven't got out beyond the halfway line at the moment. Arsenal doing very well to just keep the ball and keep West Ham where they are.
So Katie Reid in possession, back to Van Domselaar. And now to Catley, bounces onto Caldente. Now Van Domselaar again into Caldente, who's under pressure, and that's picked off by Anouk Denton, whose pass can't find a West Ham shirt. But neither can the pass from Mariona Caldente, so it bounces around once more, but it's Una Siren who comes away with possession, looking for a forward option. Now Shakira Martinez on the right-hand side, swings the ball into the penalty area. It's on top of Van Domselaar, who's dropped in her own net. What a blunder from the Dutch goalkeeper. And that is a terrible start for Arsenal. An innocuous swing of the ball into the box by Shakira Martinez. And it's dropped in by Daphne Van Domselaar. Should have dealt with that one, really. And that puts Arsenal behind after just 5 minutes.
I spoke about the conditions playing a big part. It's exactly what it does. It's a really low ball from Martinez. She gets it horribly wrong. It catches up in the air. It's just dropping, and Van Domselaar just misjudges it completely. And she tries to claim it above her head, and because she's misjudged the flight of the ball, goes through her hands and falls in the net. But I tell you what, the initial play from Siren was absolutely brilliant. Brilliant use of the body. Let the ball run, spun with it, played it out wide to Martinez. And although it was a bit of a lofted, chucked up ball into the box.
But sometimes you just got to put the ball in the area and see what happens. And it's spilt, hits the post, hits Van Domselaar. And it's in the back of the net. And Arsenal find themselves behind for the second consecutive game.
That's a tough one. That's a really tough one. Because it wasn't even that she just dropped it in the net, dropped it onto the post, came back and hit her on the head.
But they're coming forwards here with the intention to turn the result around. That, though, deemed too aggressive from Zadorsky on Rousseau, so it will be an Arsenal free kick.
We saw some weird and wacky goals in that 4-3 last season. Obviously, McCabe scored a cross that she put it across the box and it just fell into the side netting.
Into Marnham, good block from Zadorsky.
But yeah, we saw some weird moments. These two sides just pulled together some just strange and bizarre moments, whether it's through a bit of brilliant play or blunder from someone.
Well, I saw a better catch from West Ham's right back in this game last season than I've just seen from Van Domselaar. So it all happens in clashes between these two.
It's a rainy, windy night. South of England, got a yellow weather warning for wind. That's exactly what it does to a football game. You put the ball in the air and it flies about. Makes it difficult for the goalkeepers.
Exactly what you want from your aerial fantasy keeper. Arsenal putting the ball into the box. McCabe's delivery hung at the back post. It bounced around. It's cleared out for another corner by West Ham. And it allows Arsenal to keep the pressure on. Phil making the good point saying, imagine if Manu did that. It would be a completely different reaction.
Yeah.
But it's Van Domselaar, that's such a shame, rather than, Zinsberg has cost us again, and reacting in fury. Such a different reaction. But yeah, that's an uncharacteristic mistake from Van Domselaar. Ball in towards the near post, but it doesn't even stay on the pitch.
Yeah, just need to settle down and just judge the play here. And this is, again, I don't want to keep mentioning weather conditions because it sounds really boring, but it is absolutely chucking it down, by the way.
Yeah.
But that's what it does. It's a leveller. Conditions are a leveller. Pitch, wind, rain, whatever it is. It's a leveller in these kind of games. We've already seen Van Domselaar drop one in her own net, and Caldente, when has Mariona Caldente ever taken a corner and it's not come on the pitch?
Here is Katrina Gorey, plays the ball in behind. Asseyi makes the run across the defence. Brilliant from Fox. I mentioned her recovery runs in the last game against London City, and that is great pressure from Vivian Asseyi, almost picking off the pass there from Van Domselaar, who I think is the player impacted the most at the moment by the conditions, really struggling to deal with the wind and the rain.
Yeah, just needs to settle down. Had a couple misplaced passes, and the own goal. Just needs to relax a little bit. And I think Arsenal as a whole just need to get back on the ball and do what they were doing before the goal went in.
Fox down the line into Mead, who wants to take on Zadorsky, or Hanshaw, sorry, but that is out for a throw, and Arsenal will use it to go backwards. Here's Reid. Maybe the women's football version of the can they do it on a wet, windy night in Stoke Can they do it on a wet, windy night in Dagenham?
Maybe.
That's the question we're all asking. Zadorsky knocking that ball out of play, and that will be an Arsenal throw-in and another chance to get the ball high at the pitch and try and create something.
Yeah, again, this is another big test of Arsenal. Going behind in Matchweek 1 was difficult, but that was at the Emirates against the newly promoted side, and things, returned to normality very quickly in that game, and Arsenal won that comfortably. But this is a different match. You're away from home, you're up against a better opposition in West Ham, so it's another test of their mettle. They turn it around, and suddenly it's another good turnaround, and it's credit to the character. But it'll be interesting to see, how when they turn it around.
And Siren failing to get distance on that clearance, so it's Arsenal back in possession on the halfway line. Catley, Little. That's back to McCabe. I really think Arsenal have got to consider their build-up structure. At the moment, they're struggling to play with any sort of consistency. And that, a foul there from Beth Mead on a say. But it's not given. It's an Arsenal throw instead. Here's Fox. Now Little. Looking for the forward pass. Hesitates too long and's forced backwards once again. Catley. Caldente. Catley. Pass around the corner from Little. Trying to find Rousseau with a direct ball, but it's West Ham who win it back, and Rousseau deemed offside anyway.
Really, I don't really know. Arsenal last couple of minutes just gone really hot potato. We initially saw it there where the ball was, they were knocking it around. Little accidentally bounced it up towards McCabe, who responded by just smashing it in the air, to which it fell to Beth Mead, who had to chest it down and gave it straight back to a West Ham player. And then again there, we've seen it. The ball's been bounced up, it's gone over an Arsenal player's foot, and it's fallen back to West Ham. Arsenal just need to settle down this game, get back on the ball, get it on the floor. That's been their biggest problem, is it keeps bouncing up at players and skidding on and being difficult to bring down.
Well, I think we saw this in the London City game. It was difficult build-up against a side who were pressing very well. And I think West Ham have mirrored the pressing structure, a similar style, by having 3 players in the forward line, by having 3 players in defensive line, and then 2 that are sort of dealing with everything in Arsenal's midfield 3. You put yourself in a position where they're really struggling at the moment to play out. Now, maybe we'll see Arsenal sharpen up and it'll change. But I think the difference today is, as you say, the Emirates crowd aren't getting behind them. It's a cramped feeling to this game. Lovely football from West Ham, trying to play through the lines. Martinez can't quite hold on to that pass, and Arsenal will bring it the other way. McCabe runs herself down a corridor, runs herself into trouble, and West Ham win the ball back. And it's Una Siren here driving it forwards. It's a horizontal ball, though, cut out easily by Beth Mead. It's Arsenal back in possession. Caldente looking to go direct. It's too direct, though, and it runs through to Walsh.
Tell you what, Siren is involved in everything that West Ham are doing tonight. Just look really sharp on the ball. It's using her body really well. So what she's doing, she's letting the ball do the work, which is exactly what you need to do when it's skidding on and it's playing quickly. Rather than trying to control it and taking a heavy touch, she's just letting the ball do the work.
Yeah, here's Katie Reid. Now Van Domselaar. And it's back to Reid. It feels like Arsenal are out of ideas in this build-up phase, and it's exactly the same thing we saw against London City. And again, we saw them remedy it in that match. But slow starts to games will definitely be a concern for Slagers.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of what we saw last year. Not necessarily the slow starts, but the not being brilliant.
It's Katrina Gorey wanting to find a forward pass across to Siren, though.
But yeah, we saw a lot of Arsenal not being brilliant to start with, coming up with a remedy, fixing it, playing much better in the second half, but then in the next game, going back to what wasn't working. When they find a fix, keep the fix in and it will work. Rather than, it feels like a lot of that's a lovely flick through, though, from Hanshaw, and Ueki's picked it up.
And now Rico Ueki, and she's offside. And in the other game tonight, it's Manchester City 0, Brighton 1. Your visitors with the opening goal in that game. So that will be a concern as well for Man City, and it's a goal for Fran Kirby.
Well, lot of great start for the underdog.
The league.
But again, I think this is where we're going with OSL right now, is that the teams mid-table are starting to improve, they're starting to get better, and it's something that the big sides are going to have to watch out for. Obviously, a long way to go in both games, and both sides could still win 3-4-1, but certainly aspects of the game, we are seeing these mid-table sides start to really put up a good fight against the better sides.
Yeah.
Against the bigger sides, I should say.
Here's Kim Little. Pass back to Van Domselaar. Feels as I hate this Arsenal setup. The midfield just goes against everything I value in football. I value function in a team and its structure and its play style. There isn't any function. They're having to go long because the short play isn't working. It's not a design of the system. It's the system just isn't working. But they've got players at the back that can play long balls, and so they'll get out of it. But the problem Arsenal will have is when you play against stronger opposition, it won't suffice. You feel the way they're trying to play at the moment. And West Ham turn the ball over again. It's Ueki through the lines into Asai, who can't quite get it under her control. But Catley forced just to knock it into the corner, and Fox will have to work hard to keep it on the pitch.
I think West Ham there tried to break away too quickly, if anything, and it all just got a bit caught up. But I agree with Phil there and what you're saying. I also still don't believe that the Caldente little pivot is the right pivot. I said it last year, and they got absolutely torn to shreds against Lyon at the Emirates. That midfield pivot, they got completely overran. So it worked against Lyon, and they're stuck with it.
Pass through the lines, looking for Rousseau. Tisiak will knock it out of play.
But I just still don't think it works. I don't think it is a pivot that it's a pivot that does it shouldn't work, and it doesn't work most of the time.
Lovely turn from Marnham in the box, tries to put it across the area. Tisiak with an important block. Arsenal starting to get into their groove in the attacking third at least.
Yeah, much better. Got a ball down the line, won a throw in, took it quickly and caught West Ham out. A good piece of defending from Tisiak to stop that ball from Marnham getting across the box. But overall, better from Arsenal. All they did there was speed it up. Played one ball into the channel into Russo. She won a throw and took it quickly. Yes, she was on the pitch and it probably shouldn't have counted, but referees didn't see that, so she's fine. But overall, she picked up the ball and just threw it. Got a move on. Didn't wait for options. Didn't wait. Just got on with it. That's what Arsenal need to do. Got to speed the game up, but not rush it. You've got to find that perfect balance.
Ball into the penalty area again from Arsenal. It bounces around. Can anyone latch onto it? Well, that's cleared away emphatically by Hanshaw. Great hold up there from Asai. Her pass back to Gorey, though, was difficult for the Australian midfielder to deal with. She wins it back again. Martinez up the line, and that back into possession of Arsenal.
The other thing I like, and I think it helps West Ham against the bigger side, is with their front three, less so of Ueki, but still, I think overall, it's like having three target players up there. Because, especially with Asai out on the right and Ueki a bit on the left, they're both really quick players, but they're also really good at holding it up. So it's like they've managed to get a front three, which are all quite versatile. They can all hold the ball up and play, and be that target player, but also they can all be get in behind and play good football.
But also versatile in the sense that they can all play across the front three. Because you mentioned the lineup there, or the front three as it looks now, completely different to how it's looked the rest of the game. It's been Ueki through the middle, Asai off the left, and then Shakira Martinez off the right. But again, that dynamism and versatility across the front line makes it very unpredictable, and then that's difficult for defenders to deal with.
Credit to Ryan Skinner because she's managed to take three strikers and make it so they can all play anywhere across the front three.
Yeah. Well, it's West Ham with the ball again from the back, and they'll look to play it through Arsenal. And they've had moderate success with it thus far. And the build-up once again is Walsh. Pass looking for Ueki. It's one back by Arsenal, though. And it's Little who returns it to Reed. And now Catley. Back to Van Domselaar. Reed again. Bounces off Mead into Little. Now Catley. McCabe. Looking to drive past a few players. Excellent from the Irish fullback. Pokes a pass through the lines. And that hasn't quite worked. But it's well dealt with there by Ava Nystrom just to put it out for a corner.
I like that from McCabe. If the build-up's not really working and you're not going to pass through them, just run through them. Does really well. Catches West Ham out a bit there. Burst past two players. The final ball wasn't brilliant, but it's the right idea.
And that's the problem when you're just cutting passing lanes. You can see the players there. They're more looking over their shoulder. Where is the option? Where they're trying to pass it. Ball floats into the box there by Arsenal. Over everyone out for a goal kick. Karantea is just struggling, I think, a little bit with the passing range at the moment. She's overhitting and underhitting a lot, I think. Just struggling perhaps with the flight on the ball with the extra weight added, of course. And perhaps just with the skid on the turf. But yeah, I feel like Arsenal are struggling to play their brand of football, and a part of that will be the weather. I mean, you can't blame weather for results. Arteta isn't in charge of the women's team, but it can have an impact, especially if you're trying to play possession-based football. They've got to adjust to that. Great win by Asayi, and that will allow Ueki to put pressure on Katie Reid here, who's stuck in her own corner, and it's out of play for an Arsenal throw-in. Great defending from West Ham's forward, Rico Ueki. Recently signed a new contract with the Hammers, of course, to extend her stay in Dagenham, which does feel like a prison sentence, 3 years in Dagenham, but she is a crucial part of this West Ham team.
Underrated player as well, I think. She's one of those players where her numbers won't represent her value to the side. I spoke about that versatility across the front three, and her being versatile allows Asayi and Martinez to be in the positions they are when they score their double digits. And also Ueki does pop up with some decent numbers as well. But yeah, a valuable player and very understandable why West Ham have renewed her contract and put her onto a longer deal.
Well, yeah, 12 contributions for Rico Ueki.
That's fine.
Last season, that's exactly what you want.
Yes. You don't, when you've got Martinez and Asayi who both put double digits up for goal contributions as well, you don't need Ueki to go out and get 20. That's fine. If each of the front three's putting up 12 goal contributions, that's 36 goals there.
Ball in behind, searching for Alessia Russo, who will pick it up. Pass inside for Beth Mee. Can she get a shot away through the lines into Marnham? Turns and shoots, and it's a goal. And Arsenal find a leveller. West Ham struggle to deal with the pace of the Arsenal attack. And they find a route to goal. Freedom Marnham with a tidy finish. Walsh probably should have done better, but Arsenal won't care about that. It's West Ham 1, Arsenal 1. And this comes from changing the way they're playing. Just lumping it long and letting the attacking players do their magic. That's what they've resorted to a lot in the last few minutes. Their style isn't working. They've changed it up well. Mead poked it through the lines. Marnham with a nice turn. And Walsh struggles to react to it. It's one of those where this relies on so many errors. Just little errors from the West Ham players. But Tisiak gets turned too easily. Mead here being able to play a pass through the legs of Siren. And Marnham being able to put a shot through the legs of Nystrom and past Walsh, which is within her saving circle. It's a very well taken goal by Marnham, a very tidy finish, but you have to say the West Ham keeper should have done more about it.
Yeah, this game is not being put in any of our art of goalkeeping clips ever, but it's better from Arsenal, as you say, much more direct, much quicker. And West Ham, we've frustrated because of a very, very sloppy goal to concede, and they've done the silly pump it long into the corner thing again.
But do you feel they've had a lot of success with Arsenal trying to play out from the back?
Yes, maybe.
So I don't think it's the worst idea.
But better from Arsenal, they're back in the game now. And
McCabe can't even find someone to throw the football to at the moment. Opts to go up the line. Arsenal sent straight back the other way.
They've got to push on now. They did well. Going longer, being more direct, it works. When as you say, West Ham are getting joy by pressing Arsenal and being higher. That means Arsenal are going to get more joy by just going over the top. Russo's going to win the foot race against the centre halves, and suddenly you've got a good chance coming along.
It's not fashionable, but it's functional, and that's the important thing in football. What gets results is more important than what makes tactical analysts happy.
Exactly. It doesn't need to look good. If it wins football matches, it wins football matches.
Yeah.
Another assist for Beth Mead as well.
Extending herself as the highest assister in WSL history. Yeah, great ball. As Phil says, thankfully we have Beth Mead. Indeed, a very nice pass.
I thought she's done well. Credit to her, because obviously, a lot of rumours about her going to London City. A lot of people, including ourselves, said that maybe it is time that Arsenal do cash in on her while they still can. But to come into the start of the season, pick up 3 assists in the first 2 games.
I remain of that opinion.
Yeah,
I think from an Arsenal perspective, it would have made more sense. But I admire Beth Mead wanting to stay at the club, wanting to fight for a place.
As a player, it wasn't her best season last season, but I think in these first 2 games, she's already stepped it up massively. Yeah, this is the Beth Mead we saw in that Champions League final. It's not, I think that she's done much, already. The first 2 games has looked much better than she did in certain appearances last season.
Here is Kim Little on the ball and opts to go back to Catley. Now Little again. A pass out to Fox. And Hanshaw trying to pounce on it. Sai almost won it in the before that. Mead overturns the ball. Now Arsenal can play. Here's Caldente. Shifts it wide into Mead in the half space. Lovely ball into the box, but no one in the white and red of Arsenal able to turn it home.
Lovely floated cross. And yeah, she's very unlucky. There was no one running it there at the back post, but too soft from West Ham there. It was a half-committed tackle from Hanshaw and a bit sloppy from Gorey, and Arsenal were all over it. West Ham can't afford to get too comfortable because Arsenal have definitely just upped it a little bit. They've got the leveller, and now that their tails are up a little bit.
Yeah, Siren. Now Denton. A pass forward. Martinez, lovely hold up from the forward. Tries to go up the line. And that looked like a West Ham ball. As adamant as the protests are from Arsenal, it won't come to anything. And well, Catley really should be having a talking to for the way she's just spoken to the lino.
I don't think anyone had any idea. That took so long for anyone to give that decision.
I've never seen an assistant or coach look so convinced of something or so animated in a decision. Marnham into Fox. Now out to Mead. Looks to put the ball into the box, and Walsh does well just to punch it away. And there is a foul in there, I believe, from Russo.
That's a great spot if there is.
Well, I'm not sure what else she could have given there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think it is.
I think it's just a nudge.
Yeah.
In the area. Nystrom sending it long. No complaints though from Alessia Russo. You can only assume it was the fair decision, or at least not one worth arguing. Reed. Under pressure from Ueki, just takes too long in possession, and that is bailed out there wonderfully by Kim Little, because that easily could have been a very high overturn and a great chance for West Ham. Turn in possession from Ford, drops to Caldente, she loses possession. Caldente gets caught on the ball, and that is a very fortunate free kick, because I didn't think that was too bad a tackle from Una Siren.
Yeah.
Looked like she got the ball, but it's deemed a foul.
Cadente's lucky that Ueki pulled her before that tackle, because I think she's got away with that one.
Ball through the lines, looking for Alessia Russo. Can she fashion it into a goal-scoring opportunity? Back to McCabe. Wants to deliver it into the box. Knocks it back to Caldente. Tries to play through the lines, but there's nothing on. Ueki, tidy control. Tries to play a ball out to Martinez. Not enough on it. And the recovering McCabe pokes it back to Catley.
This is so West Ham Arsenal. It's just, I couldn't tell you who. No one's on top right now.
No.
1 minute West Ham are one pass away from being through on goal. The next it's Arsenal. Neither side is really settled, but I think that suits West Ham more than it will suit Arsenal right now.
Yeah, Nigel Welcome not happy with the start for Manchester City over in that game, understandably so.
It's going to take time. That's the only thing I can say with City.
Yeah.
It's going to take time. And Chelsea and Brighton as your first two is difficult.
Great control from Caitlin Ford. Can she make something happen here in the final third? Shifts it back to Caldente. Ball out wide now to Katie McCabe. And it's back again into Catley. Ford. McCabe flicking that one up in the air. Well, I think it's come down with snow on it. And out of play. Got a lot of hype behind that flick.
Yeah.
But it didn't quite work out for Arsenal.
Yeah, again, just trying to work it in a very close area there. That ball is never on. And McCabe just tried to flick it over the top of everyone. That was never really gonna end up in the net, or not in the net. So never really gonna end up being a chance whatsoever. If Ford plucks that out of the air and scores from it, then fair enough. But the chance of that happening there were very slim. I think both sides, it's just breaking down. As I said, they're both getting one pass away from being a really good opportunity.
Caldente holds onto the ball well. Now back to Reed. Caldente into Little, and it's a high turnover again, and West Ham looking for a way to play out, and they'll go down the left-hand side now. Hanshaw up the line, looking for Ueki, who makes the run off of Reed. Holds the ball up well, now looks to square her up. Ball across the box, and it's overhit from Ueki. Perhaps looking to imitate Martinez's effort from earlier. And just see if Van Donstar put it in for her, but it's overhit. There's a good chance West Ham wasted.
Yeah, brilliant run this from Ueki, because she does two things. You know, she gets to the ball and she times it well, but she runs across Reed, and Reed in that position either takes her out and it's a red card, or she has to let her go and let Ueki get onto the ball. Reed does the right thing and actually did well in the end to recover, get the right side of Ueki and force her to try something audacious. Well defended, but good play from Ueki and better from West Ham.
Ball lumped along by Van Domselaar. Header from Nystrom, now Siren. And that will go all the way back to Walsh, who sends it forward, only to be cut out by Catley. Drops in there for Tisiak, and West Ham back in possession. Pass out wide, but it's overhit. Denton are able to get there, and that's an Arsenal throw.
Yeah, again, we've seen quite a lot of unforced errors from both sides tonight, really. Not necessarily unforced, but overall just errors across the board.
Yeah, Little does well to hold on to the ball in there. Now Caldente back to Kim Little. Shifts it wide into Emily Fox, who goes wider still into Mead, who looks now to square up to Hanshaw, back to Fox. It's an important tackle in there from Vivian Asayi, who managed to track the Arsenal fullback well.
That is brilliant defensive work from Asayi, as you say. Does so well to follow Fox all the way there and then make the tackle. Very easy. You see it all the time where wingers just, they'll follow their fullback back 20 yards and then just give up on it, and the fullback will keep running and get a free overlap. But that was really good defending from Asayi. Stuck with Fox all the way and then intercepted the ball when she needed to.
And another corner now for Arsenal. And they've had a succession of these, but they've been unable to really threaten with any of them. And again, it's looped towards the back post. It's a game of headers in the box, and it's a game of headers that results in a West Ham clearance. And Asayi looking to try and pick up on the loose ball. And it's out for an Arsenal throw-in deep in the West Ham half. I think they'll be disappointed, West Ham, with the result of that.
Yeah, Asayi just couldn't really bring it down. Better from Arsenal, though. Again, they're finding a way through the box. Well defended, though.
Zadorsky gets it out, falls for Mariana Caldente. But that one massively misstruck.
Tell you what,
and out for a goal kick.
Caldente is struggling tonight. Really, just gets under it. You spoke earlier about the weight of pass. There's another one. Just tries to lift it into the bottom corner. It's a bouncing ball and just gets under it. And that has gone, that would have been brilliant if she's playing rugby. But that's gone well over the bar.
It goes to the sideline and they all get to go and jump on each other and throw it on top of them or something. I don't know anything about that sport. Here's Walsh. Knocks it out to the left-hand side. Zadorsky up the line. Good control from Asayi, brought down by Fox, and rightfully that's given as a foul.
Yeah, that was needless as well from Fox, because Asayi had taken a heavy touch. So Arsenal would have turned the ball over if Fox wasn't holding it all the way.
Yeah. Slayer Zadorsky with this free kick. And well, by the looks of the run-up, I think she's looking for a long ball from this. And she's going to keep going further and further back. And now will launch it forwards. That's probably the best way to describe that. Fox under pressure from Ueki almost gets there, but it does go out for a goal kick.
Interesting decision, that.
I think with the amounts of time she gave for it to allow Arsenal to drop back, it then became entirely pointless. But if you do that and dummy it and then play short and you open up some space on the edge of the penalty area, and then either Arsenal have got to jump up, which could catch them out, or they've got to stay deep, which could leave space. But instead, she showed them exactly what they were going to do. She sends it long, and then all the Arsenal players just drop and let it go out of play.
Yeah.
Odd decision there from Zadorsky to give away the game plan so obviously. Ball forwards from Arsenal, and this game has become very direct at the moment, bypassing the midfield, but it's Mead who picks up the ball now, driving it forward from the right to the left. Now McCabe, who will look to create something from the wide area. Not a bad ball into the box. No one challenging it in an Arsenal shirt, though.
Yeah, again, just gets too much on it. But Arsenal definitely having more joy now going direct. And then just going direct and just running at West Ham seems to be working. Because, as I said, West Ham aren't designed, they're not built, they haven't set up today to expect that to happen.
Yeah. Ryder says Brighton looking good at the moment. Good to know. I'm surprised. They were very good last season. And Vidicic has now got centre-backs who can play his system. But Arsenal win the ball high at the field again. Here's Mead. And that's a ball down the line that's rather speculative. As Zadorsky will launch the other way. It's Fox who touched it down well into Kim Little, who can turn and try and create something. Doesn't see Asai recovering behind her. And West Ham turn the ball over. Here's Anouk Denton. Bursts inside. Tries to find Shakira Martinez. But the diagonal ball is cut out. Reed. Back to Catley. Under pressure from Martinez. Ford pokes a pass through the lines. And Marnham tries to make something happen, but she's dispossessed, and it's West Ham back in possession, and that's given as a free kick. With a nudge there from Marnham on Tisiak.
Yeah, it's a really hard game to get hold of. You know, usually you get 34 minutes in and you've got a clear idea of who's on top, who's been the better side, how's the game going. But this one is really difficult at the moment to put my foot on.
I feel that Arsenal dropped to West Ham's level. And West Ham might have forced them that. And that was a strong tackle from Fox. A nice Saï throw on goal. It's one of those where it's just enough of a shoulder to call it a shoulder. But
yeah.
There was a lot of force in that.
It's on the line, and the fact that the ball had run through to the goalkeeper will also help there.
A foul in there from Kim Little. Arsenal's midfield too are struggling so much again.
They
can't hold the ball.
Yeah, there's a reason Arsenal are getting more joy by going direct, because they're just skipping the midfield pivot.
Yeah, that was dubious. Very dubious from Fox. It looked more like the elbow. Definitely looked more like the elbow on a replay. I think she's got away with one there.
Yeah. I was too busy watching the ball. I didn't actually see what happened.
Oh, okay. Just sort of an elbow in towards... That's quite a high elbow as well, but it wasn't like neck area, just below. Don't know why I've forgot the word chest. But there you go. Ball flicked on by Martinez, just wide of the mark. And that's out for an Arsenal goal kick.
Yeah, not a bad ball in that from Asai. Martinez almost need to flick it on further. She's tried to, she's looped it up back across the goal. I think if anything, she just needed to get a flick on and carry it further towards the back post where players were running in.
And Dom Slark going direct with it again, picked off by Nystrom. Now Denton. I think West Ham have reacted really well to Arsenal going direct. London City stayed high. And the problem... London City stayed high, and then when they realised it, they dropped really low. Whereas West Ham are dropping into more of a mid-block rather than a low block. And so they're going to win the aerial battles. The defenders for West Ham are stronger, more physical players than Arsenal's forwards. So they're happy to just rely on winning those 50-50s. And so I feel that Arsenal are playing into West Ham's hands. It's only when they get the luck of the rub of the green that suddenly they have an advantageous situation. But I think to give up all control to try and become a side who just are very good at being able to break away and score goals, I don't know. It's not very attractive football. And at the moment, it's not incredibly functional with the way that West Ham have dealt with Arsenal so far.
Yeah, Arsenal. They're gonna again. It's something that Arsenal get used to.
Skinner and West Ham have adapted when Croatia and London City didn't.
Hallelujah! We've had a foul throw finally called this season. I think we had one in Chelsea Man City. So I think that's something that really needs to make sure that gets ironed out of the game. We saw a lot of the Euro as well. I mean, the amount of dubious throw-ins.
How long until we kick-ins? Gory. Now Ueki round the corner into Hanshaw. Can't quite hold on to the ball, and it's Fox who comes away with it. And now they'll look to play, Arsenal. And a pass down the line into Mead. Saï wins that ball, and then Mead picks it up.
Yeah, handball.
I'm not sure what she can argue there. There wasn't much of a foul.
No.
And now she's gone down, holding her head.
I'm not sure where the head contact was. I'll have another look, though.
Unless it's just hitting the ground.
Maybe.
There's two players competing for the ball. She's looking for the foul.
Yeah,
Asai doesn't foul her.
No.
Asai's trying to get to the ball.
Means
getting in front of the ball, or trying to draw that foul.
Yeah,
I don't think Asai takes enough of the play.
Yeah, Asai's got her arm around her, but it's more hip on hip, to be honest. But yeah, it was just the shin of Asai as it came down, as Mead went down. no, referees rightfully given it as a West Ham free kick because Mead then just scoops the ball up in her hands, expecting to get the free kick.
I think you always give a foul away when you do that nowadays. I think refs hate it so much.
Yeah.
That assumptive nature that you know what the ref's thinking. They then tend to give it the other way.
Yeah, it goes both ways. I think that obviously some refs will see it and then just give the free kick because they don't want to have to give you for handball. But yeah, I think it's an interesting one. An opportunity though for both sides, both managers to have a word with their teams in what has been a really a half that has fluctuated massively. You feel, and so I think that both sides have had their moments. Neither goal was spectacular, but it's another goal for Marnham, another assist for Mead. For Arsenal, for West Ham, a bit of fortune, but sometimes all you've got to do in football is put the ball on the goalkeeper and it comes off. But I think the performance from West Ham, warrants to be in the position they are now, which is level. To be honest, the way both sides have been in front of goal, I think 0-0 would be a more fair result than 1-1.
Yeah.
I don't think either side can really complain. I don't think either side have been bad, but I don't think either side have been brilliant.
HP says Ford anonymous so far. Mariona and Little have been horrible. Completely agree. Don't think Ford's touched the ball, and I completely agree. The midfield pivot it's not functional. It just doesn't work.
I'll take Ford out of my aerial fantasy team, and she'll go score next week.
Suddenly, though, she gets a hat trick.
Yeah, but no, I said it last season. We said it last season. Caldente Little is not a pivot that should work. They got overran last season by Lyon. They got overran by Brighton, overran by Villa. It doesn't work. There's no defensive. There's no real defender in there.
It's also there isn't. Though for more advanced midfielders, it also gets nothing out of Mariona Caldente. One of the biggest attacking threats, and you're nullifying her so that she can be good in build-up. Here's Shakira Martinez, and that doesn't quite work out. West Ham should have made more of that chance. They moved the ball forwards very effectively and looked to just sort of take advantage of Arsenal, who were a little bit slow coming out of that extended break for Mead. Asai. Back now to Tisiak. Here's Nystrom. Plays the ball forward. Header flicked away by Little. Ueki puts it back up in the air. Asai now drops it down to Hanshaw, who does well to hold on to the ball. And then loses it to Mead. And now Arsenal will look to play out. Little opts to go back again. Catley. Little back to Catley. That's a nice give and go. Now Catley will drive it forwards and she'll go long, looking for the run of Alessia Russo. Tisiak now with Russo on her back. And she'll see it out well, Amber Tisiak, for an Arsenal throw.
Yeah, as I say, I'm not really sure what Tisiak was doing there. Just, you just need to kick it back into Russo or do something with it.
Yeah.
Instead, let it run and went out for Arsenal throw.
I think she was taking the safer option, rather than trying to kick it into Russo and ending up, I don't know, giving it back to her or something. But yeah, Arsenal now with a throw-in and a good chance to put pressure on the Hammers. Amela Parvy making it difficult for her to do so, though, as a substitute. Ball well won there by Siren. Now Caldente, who will cut inside. It's not a bad ball. Welsh, though, matching it.
Better. Much better from Caldente, that.
Welsh sends it forward. Took a flick off Russo there. Welsh really should have just waited a second or got, waited till she was out of the way or moved to the side. But alas, Marnham now. Great hold up. Knocks the ball wide. Into McCabe. That's Martinez all over her. And that is out though for an Arsenal throw-in. Ball down the line. Ford. Now Caldente wants to clip a ball into the box. Forced backwards instead though. And Fox's touch taking her towards the Arsenal goal. Little getting away with one in there. And it's Manu who touches it on to Mead down the line to Fox. Lovely footwork from Beth Mead. Fox with a very poor ball and it's out of play for a goal kick. Beth Mead looks like the only player alert for Arsenal this evening. Some really tidy footwork. Some nice combination in the final third. Everyone else just doesn't look on it. Technically, physically, in terms of game intelligence and reading where the opposition are. Mead seems like the only one that's alert for Arsenal this evening.
Yeah, 100%. I think Russo's done well to get onto a few balls, but it's been a tough night for her.
She likes to receive the ball into feet, and she likes to play with others, but it's just speculative long balls that she has to give chase to at the moment. I don't know. The problem with how Arsenal are playing right now is I don't know who they're trying to get the most out of.
Yeah.
Because no one in this Arsenal team is proficient at playing the way they want to play, the way they're currently playing. I don't think it's the way they want to play, it's the way they're being forced to play. Catley into Marnham. Now McCabe. And she's forced backwards into Catley. Back down the line into McCabe. Now Manu has found a pocket of space in midfield. Nystrom out to her aggressively, then Gory, and they'll force her backwards. And this is the same thing that the back three gave London City, was the ability for the defenders to step up without too much fear, because they know they've got players behind them who can cover that space. Here's Ford looking to make something happen. Tidy footwork from Caitlin Forge, taken a little bit deep, and it ends in nothing, and it's good defending there from Zadorsky or Hanshaw to deal with it. Fox tries a give and go. Asai does well there to stop her path. How legal that was has been determined by the referee, not a foul, but definitely dubious. And there will be an additional 3 minutes in this game, accounting, of course, for Beth Mead's injury. Well, yeah, head injury. But yeah, not a first 45 that I think either side will be writing home about.
No. I think that the last kind of 5-10 minutes have really summed up what the first half has been.
Ball into the box from Martinez. Headed away, and now Mead will look to play out. Turned over, though, by West Ham. Here's Katrina Gorey, who will look to make something happen. Not happy with any of the passing options available. Here's Zadorsky, who will lump it forwards, looking for Ueki. Nice head down, but it's not able to find a claret shirt. One back by West Ham, though, as Arsenal clear it away. Just trying to clear their lines at the moment. Arsenal are outside under more pressure as this half comes to a close, but Nystrom gives away the ball, and now Arsenal could break. Here's Ford, looks to play out to the left-hand side. Marnham with space to drive into now. West Ham recovering back much quicker than Arsenal can get forwards, though. Marnham into the box. Walsh, no problems claiming that. Alex says Enandozi, the Brighton goalkeeper, is great. And David saying City's lucky not to be 3 down. Yeah, I had Enandozi in my aerial fantasy team all of pre-season, and I took her out the day before for Van Donselaar, who failed to keep a clean sheet in the opener and has scored 9 goals today. Fantastic decision.
They're very opposing views, aren't they? Because one would suggest to me that Brighton are under loads of pressure and then Dozy having to make some big saves, and the other one would tell me that Brighton are on top.
Yeah.
I'm
not watching the game, so I don't know, but it's 4 shots to 6 in favour of Man City, both with 2 shots on target, though.
Sounds pretty even.
Yeah. One big chance for City and a significantly higher XG of 0.8 compared to 0.2. So, Kirby's goal was well taken, though. Saw that the replay of that. Ball forward from West Ham. Ueki trying to get it under her control. Catley trying to deal with her, and that one cleared away affirmatively by Caldente. Here's Mead, heads it on towards Russo. Tisiak will see it back to Zadorsky. And now West Ham back in possession. Walsh. Here is Zadorsky. Into Gory. And now back to Walsh. Nystrom. Looks to go up the line. Martinez. Flick on doesn't quite work. Reed does well to adjust. Now Caldente. Under pressure. Back to Reed, who plays through the lines. Nice control from Marnham. Looks to go down the left-hand side into Caitlin Ford. And there's Akers here for the Aussie to use. Can she find a teammate in the box? Cuts it back. Russo, nice touch. Tidy work. Unable, though, to turn it goalwards. But West Ham put it out for a corner.
Tell you what, I think Mead should be screaming for that, and she probably was. Russo decides to take the ball away, take the touch, and try and get something away herself. But Beth Mead was running onto this to hit that first time. Maybe Hanshaw would have got there first. But
so very much there you feel with blinkers and earmuffs on. There's
but
a
even
striker,
though,
she's focusing on trying to score.
she brings it down and then tries to turn it to Mead.
Mead with some complaints.
Yeah, understandably.
Ball into the box, and the taker slipped as she took it. Catley. Back to Little, overturned by Asayi, but she won't get a chance to use that, as that is the half-time whistle at the break. It's West Ham 1, Arsenal 1. The early own goal from Daphne Van Donselaar, cancelled out by a Freedom Marnham strike. But a first half with not a load of highlights. West Ham have done well to weather the Arsenal storm at times. Arsenal struggling to play the football that they'd want to play, and at the break, it's all square here in Dagenham. What have you made of that first half, Harry?
Not much, to be completely honest. It's 45 minutes where I don't think either side have played very good football. To be completely honest, I think that West Ham's game plan was to come out, play direct, hit Arsenal on the break, and soak up pressure. And to be fair, they've done well actually to be a bit more aggressive than I potentially saw them being, and that has caught Arsenal out. West Ham, playing a little bit higher up the pitch than Arsenal were anticipating, and Arsenal to start with really struggled to play out. Once they realised that going direct and trying to hit West Ham on the break worked, and they've got a bit more joy. But it's been really weird because I feel like we're watching two sides who are just trying to go direct against each other and hit each other on the break, which obviously doesn't work because it kind of cancels each other out. But neither side is playing very pretty football at the moment, and it's not getting the job done for anyone. So, I mean, I think that second half could massively come down to which coach gets it right for the second 45 minutes, because at the moment they're both playing football that's cancelling each other out. What can one of the coaches come up with that is going to change this game? But it was 45 minutes that I don't think after tonight either side will be hoping to replicate, because I think both sides will feel like they could have played a lot better in that first 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's one of those where someone who's got to make a video on Wednesday analysing something. You watch it through and you see Arsenal's build-up, and it's not working at all. And there's this persistence from Slager's. I think it's this. She is rather dogmatic in how they've played throughout the last year. It's been the same system. Occasionally they've changed up a little. I think the Barcelona game is a great example of that. But overall, she likes to play the same sort of football. And so maybe she won't change up, but the way they've been trying to build up in these games, the London City game, the West Ham game, at least the way they started to build up, it's just not functional. They're not playing through the lines effectively. It seems too easy to press. Their defensive midfielders aren't playing out the press effectively enough. And yeah, they're really struggling at the moment to build up, and they're just resorting to going long with it. Where they've got players in the final third who can make something happen when the ball gets to them, but they're too reliant on that, and there will be games where it doesn't quite work out. It's not at the moment. It shouldn't have in the London City game. If London City, they could have easily been at 1-1 at half time and fought harder in the second half. But they did fall apart right at the end, and they conceded right at the end of the half because, again, defensive errors. West Ham haven't made those defensive errors tonight. The only Arsenal goal came from, yes, a few West Ham defensive errors, admittedly. The goalkeeper should have done better. Two defenders, it going through two defenders' legs. There's loads of variables for Arsenal where if they don't quite get the fortune on all of those moments, do they find a goal in that first half? Probably not. They had one shot on target in that first half from 6 attempts. West Ham didn't even have a shot. It's not been a beautiful standard of football. West Ham set out to be defensive. They've done that very well. They've played their role in this game very well. There's been a few times they've turned the ball over hard at the pitch. They've really struggled to make anything of it when perhaps they should have done better. But yeah, Arsenal really struggling to play out at the moment. Phil making a good comment. I agree with Reed and Mead. The rhyme, I'm loving that as well. Have been really good, but the rest have not got going. FZ saying not having a DM is showing, especially in this game for Arsenal. I think it's prevalent in the London City game, but London City definitely tired in that match and weren't pressing with the same intensity, and it just gave that midfield more time to get the passes right, and they started to play some much nicer football. London City dropped deeper, and that played into their hands. But West Ham haven't dropped too deep. Their defensive line has definitely shifted a little bit deeper to make up for the fact that Arsenal are sending the ball long. So potentially they'll start to find some space, perhaps between the West Ham midfield, who are pushing up quite aggressively, and then the West Ham backline, who are pushing off a little, and perhaps Arsenal will try and pry some space in that area. But they're not getting the space where they want to, which is in their own third, where they want a bit of time to be able to play out from the back, progress the ball, and move forwards. And even when they're in the final third, they're really struggling to pull West Ham out and create space to attack into, which is obviously what they're looking to do, because they can't play through the press. And, you know, who in this Arsenal side is press resistant? Because the midfield just get caught out way too easily. You need a midfielder like Leo Valti, who's really good at holding onto the ball and resisting the press. So yeah, I find it's been difficult to watch Arsenal, because they're not it's not pretty football. It's not nice to watch, because they're trying to play out from the back, it isn't working, and they're resorting to just going long. And the final third combinations at times have been a bit eye-catching, but even then, it's not beautiful.
No.
And obviously conditions don't help. The fact that the ball is just getting a little bit stuck up tonight is, making that final third play look a little worse. But yeah, it's been one of those halves. If West Ham had made more on the fact they were turning the ball over so high up the pitch, they could have scored again. But yeah, they're fortunate in the way they did score.
Yeah, we're in a position tonight where both sides have not played well. It's as simple as that. I think we have to be honest. But I think the concern comes for Arsenal is that they're as you say, they've been forced to go long, because that's the only thing that's going to work. But they shouldn't be. The way they play shouldn't be being dictated by a side like West Ham. Arsenal should be turning up tonight, playing their football, and outclassing West Ham. Yeah. Simple as that. Because of the manager and the players they've got. West Ham, I mean, they've got to sort themselves out in front of goal, because they had one shot on target against Tottenham and were really wasteful. And tonight they've created nothing and have found a stroke of luck through a Van Donstad own goal that's got them their goal tonight. But that has got to be warning signs, because it's weird, because they're doing, as you say, they're turning the ball up high, turning the ball over high up the pitch. The front three are doing very well off the ball. It's the actual on the ball work which isn't working right now for West Ham, and that's something they've got to look at. And I think they'll find themselves fortunate to have scored in this game, because, as I said, I think 0-0 at the moment would be the fairest result, because neither side has been brilliant. But I think West Ham have got to find a way to be better in the final third, because as you say, I agree, they've pressed Arsenal brilliantly, and the amount of times they've turned the ball over, fantastic, but then they go and waste it, and they misplace a pass or something, and it's really letting them down, because they could have really punished some Arsenal errors tonight, but they've wasted more opportunities. I mean, the fact they haven't had a shot in 45 minutes is ridiculous. That shouldn't happen with the quality they've got in their team. They had one shot on target all game against Tottenham. They haven't even had a shot in this match. That is not good enough. And it's not sustainable at this level. Yes, they only lost by a goal to 0 to Tottenham. Yes, they are still level here tonight, but it's not sustainable. So I think West Ham, on any other occasion, they'd be sat here going 1-1 at half-time against Arsenal. Happy days, that's a great result. But I think they've got to be careful, because the way they've played isn't good enough. Especially in front. I think defensively they're okay. I mean, the goal was a shambles, to be completely honest. That was really easy. That was too easy from everyone in a claret and blue shirt. But I think both sides know they need to step it up in the second half, because if they don't, it's going to be a really scrappy result for whoever does get it across the line.
Yeah, and we spoke about the problem with Arsenal not replacing Leo Valti on our deadline day stream. Phil saying, I'm just thinking about Valti on for Marnham and Mariona in the 10. But yeah, instantly they look better. But I think the other one, and F said mentioning it as well, saying not replacing Valti is a bad decision from their board. I think the other player they're missing a lot, and this is something that they could have addressed in the market, is Leah Williamson. Because they're coming to this season without their captain, their leading centre-back. And I think she makes them look so much better. Her comfortability on the ball, the way that she can carry the ball up the pitch and just drive them 5 yards, 10 yards higher up the field, the way that she can play more accurate balls in behind. I think a lot of Arsenal's long balls have been quite speculative, and I do think at times Williamson's are just, we'll pump it long and get away with it. But there are some, she's got a very nice passing range. Oftentimes she will find very accurate balls out to the far side. But yeah, at the moment, it's very much, the passes long aren't those deliberate ones where they've forced them to press one way, they give it to Williamson, then she's got time on the ball to pick out a really nice cross-field pass or a ball down the line. It's more, we're passing around, we're panicking now because West Ham are running at us, so we'll smash it forwards and we'll see what we get from it. But there doesn't feel that confidence in this Arsenal setup, or comfortability. They're not playing very good football at the back. It's interesting. It's very rare that you see two teams come out of a Champions League final and both look worse.
Yeah.
Like Barcelona's squad is depleted, and Arsenal's first team looks objectively worse than the football they were playing last season.
Yeah, I think the Valti pivot situation is such a weird one because I think anyone could have told you, and we said it numerous times, the current pivot of Little and Calante last season wasn't good enough. They looked so much better when Valti was in there. They sold Valti, and Slager's said to Cooney Cross, that number 6 shirt is yours to take. Go out, you take that, grab that opportunity, and make that shirt yours. But she hasn't started either of the first 2 games. You can't say that to a player and then not give them the opportunity.
He hasn't played a minute yet.
Yeah, how can you say that to a player and then in the first 135 minutes of the season not give them a single minute? That's not how that works. Either you've got to go out and replace the player you lose, or the player you've told is going to got to step up and become into that role. You've got to give her the opportunities. I'm not saying Cooney Cross fixes every issue, but I certainly think that she would look better, looks a little bit more stable, but also you can...
Or even if it doesn't make them look better in defence and midfield, but it puts Mariana Calden high up the field, that makes them look a stronger team.
I mean, I have no idea who is currently governing that decision, because...
Well, no, Calden and DM, and I mentioned this on the London City stream, Calden and DM is fine if you are a team who are constantly having possession high up the pitch, because then you get her in a position, as we've seen a few times Arsenal come forwards, she's been in and around the 18-yard box or just on the edge and be able to create from that sort of position. The problem is for Arsenal at the moment is that because they're struggling to play out from the back, they just go long, and that means that Canate isn't involved in any of the play. Not involved in the build-up because it's not working, and then she can't get forwards in time to be involved in the attack because they're just going long and they're just going direct. So you're not getting anything out of arguably your best player, which is such an odd decision. But yeah, it's not working at the moment for Arsenal. They're going long to make up for that and get results at the moment in these matches. But there's got to be a change structurally because they haven't got the personnel to change that midfield now because they've got rid of Valti. Even if you don't think you want to play with a more defensive option, surely you take one. Even just for those bigger games. Surely you go and sign someone who can do that more defensive role, even if it's just for the bigger games and moments like this where they can't play out from the back.
Yeah, I think it's for me it was a bizarre one, and I think they've got that wrong. And again, it's something that they got through it against London City, and tonight they might turn it around and win the game. But again, is it sustainable? Is it will it? It's one of those where even if they get the result tonight, they've had to work their way through it, and that's fine. We saw Chelsea do that for a few results last season, but. You don't. That's not how you really come in and win a league and set the tempo. Because while yes, they were good against London City, but it'd be interesting to see what United are like on Sunday. But while Chelsea went out and beat Manchester City and United went out and smashed Leicester, we're turning up here and Arsenal having to work their way to a win, and they're not even winning yet. So there's a long way to go. I just think overall you've got to go out hard and set the tempo. And Arsenal might be able to muddle their way through it for the first few game weeks, but we don't want to be getting to game week 14 again, watching that pivot get overran and sat here drawing the same conclusions we had last season where their midfield has let them down again, they've lost this game and now they're not going to win the title. That's the problem I've got with Arsenal, is that it's fine every now and again to not be brilliant, to not start the season with loads of pace and just have to work your way through some games, but you don't want to get to a point where again, we're having the same conversations around the same time of the season where we go, this area, they're letting them down again, and that's why they're not going to get their hands on the WSL.
Yeah, and Nadia says, who becomes captain if Little's taken off? Maybe without Williamson, they lack the leadership and have to keep Little, not play Cooney Cross. It's a very good point, and something that perhaps we haven't considered in our analysis so far. What I would say is that McCabe is the captain for the Irish national team. I think she could do that role fine. I think Steph Catley has taken the armband before for Arsenal and she could do that fine. So maybe Arsenal are lacking a little bit of leadership, definitely in their back line, with Katie Reid being a very young player. But then you've got 3 other international footballers in the back line. There should be someone that's happy to take the captain's arm, and I think Catley is part of that leadership team. So I think that would be the natural selection. But I do understand your point there that, very much, if you take Little off, that is a huge part of your leadership, especially without Williamson. But equally, she's struggling so much in possession right now. I just feel that she's being left out to dry at the moment. They'd be better off putting someone like Cooney Cross, who I think would be better being better at holding on to the possession, or at least give her a go, see if she can do that role better than Little is. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the second half. Nigel is saying we're absolutely cursed in front of goal from a Man City perspective. It sounds like you've had one good opportunity, Nigel, and that's been about it. I mean, that's what it looks statistically. Only one big chance in the first 45. A change for Arsenal. Is that Russo off? Or a front two? Well, we'll have to find out in a moment. But it's Stina Blackstenius for Arsenal. So leaning in, perhaps, to the fact they're playing direct tonight. And that is the end for Freedom Marnham. So your goal scorer and one of the better players on the field makes way for Freedom Marnham. Makes way for Stina Blackstenius. Presumably, that will either be a 4-4-2 or they drop Russo into the 10. But we are back underway for the second half. It's Arsenal who get us started. Russo into the 10 position then. An interesting decision.
What did I just say? You don't want to get to the same point of the season and be having the same conversation about the same problems letting Arsenal down. So what have they done? They've gone and put Russo back in the 10.
I don't think that sub made sense to me at any point last season. I don't think it makes sense to me now.
Why would you take one of the best number 9s in the world and consistently put her in the 10? Yeah. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's Stina Blackstenius or whoever. You don't take Alessia Russo and. I'd love to see someone get up the stats with the amount of minutes that she played in the 9 last season and the amount of minutes she played in the 10 last season. Because I can tell you right now, the amount of minutes she played in the 10 was too many because it was more than one. And that's the problem. Why again are we now going to watch 45 minutes of Russo playing in the 10? I don't.
And again, who's creating in the front four?
Yeah.
I mean, Mead can create opportunities, but she's not an out-and-out creator. She's more of a goal scorer.
So bizarre. How have Slagers and her team watched that first half and they've gone, the one thing we need to do is take off the player who scored the goal and put Russo in the 10 and bring Stina back. I think Blackstenius stretching the line, but if you're going to be direct, is going to work, but not at the lot of.
That's a bit of a mess, but well bailed out by Selena Zadorsky.
Let's see what happens. Yeah, let's see what happens.
Ford. Back now to Reed, into Ford, who's under pressure. Now Mariona Caldenteo has Siren on her back again. And Una Siren, I think, having a very good game tonight. Mariona Caldenteo will be sick of the sight of her.
Yeah.
By 90 minutes.
Siren's done very, very well. I think Gorey gets a lot of plaudits and I said for her work. And I said in the build-up, West Ham, Gorey's got to do a lot of running, but Siren has been equally as good, if not better.
Does so well to deal under pressure from Mead there. Mead a little aggressive in the tackle, bringing Hanshaw down, but deemed clean by the referee. Little with the ball into the box, and Bastisiak heads it away well. Now Denton will look to get there ahead of Mariona Caldente, and she does. Martinez looks for a flick onto Ueki. I don't think that's Ueki, though. That's Steph Catley who picks up the ball. But Ueki does well to recover it, and now West Ham back in possession. And they can settle on the ball. Better than Arsenal have all evening, really, with Walsh. Walsh now looking for that pass out to the left-hand side. Ueki and absolute acres. And now it's Hanshaw who'll go down the line, looking for the run of Vivian Asai. Fox, though, able to recover it again. Fox's recovery runs are phenomenal. I didn't shut up about it in the London City game, but the pace in which he just recovers back, wins the ball, is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Here's Rico Ueki. Now a pass. Back to Denton. Who drifts into midfield. Gorey. Lovely give and go between Nystrom and Siren. Ball down the line. Ueki spins. She'll be up against McCabe. McCabe does well then to knock out a play without collecting the player in the process. And that will be a West Ham throw. Who have started the second half with intention, really, West Ham. They haven't dropped off. They've kept the intensity. They want to fight Arsenal in this game. And Nystrom with the throw-in. Denton, back to Nystrom. Looks to take on Caldente. Across is blocked. Now she can put a ball in on her left foot, though. A much better claim from Van Domselaar. Deal with that one. Dylan Roselo, welcome to the stream. Says Arsenal looks so bad. Yeah. A very scathing review of their performance, but they're not playing nice football. And that's a long ball forwards again from Arsenal. You have to look at the two sides playing right now. You took all your knowledge of the game out. Then they're wearing the same kit or something. You would say West Ham look like the stronger side. Balling behind, looking for Blackstenius. In terms of the way they're trying to play, Ball in, it's blocked, and it's out now for an Arsenal corner. Now they can start to put the pressure on. In terms of the way they're playing, the fact that West Ham are playing out from the back, they're looking for players in space, they're trying to play possession-based football. There's some nice combinations happening in wide areas and they're progressing well because of that. Then you've got an Arsenal team who are trying to soak up pressure, look nervy in possession, and are going long with it. They're playing underdog football with some of the best players in the world.
Yeah. It's... I'm still waiting for one of these sides to really kick into gear. Gorey into the book then for a foul on Mead. The referee played advantage. 100% yellow card. Gorey just kind of platted into her shin. Another Arsenal corner. 7-0 on corners now for Arsenal.
Oh, there you go. They deserve the win then. Mead through the lines, tries to find Caldente. Ball into the box, a header towards goal, but it's wide of the mark from Blackstenius.
But you make the point there. How many shots have they had from those corners? Or shots on target?
Well, they've had one shot on target all game.
Exactly.
And that was the goal.
So how have you had 7 corners and not got shots away from any of them? Yeah, that's what really confuses me.
Well, yeah, bar the goal, they haven't had anything resembling a good opportunity.
I mean, both sides in front of the goal tonight have been torrid so far. They've got to step it up in this second half.
Caldente unable to trap that successfully, but gets away with it. And now West Ham can play. Una Siren tries to feed an impossible ball through. She can't find Asayi there.
She knew she got that wrong immediately.
Fox into Mead, back to Caldente, who goes to Fox. Now Caldente is under pressure. Asayi almost picks her off. Ball back to Walsh. And now they can go to the left-hand side where there is a bit of space. Quickly, though, West Ham shuffle across. Little out wide. Brilliant from Nystrom to get there. It's really nice how this West Ham shape shifts so much. Nystrom, who's playing right centre-half, often pushes forward into right-back. Denton, who's playing as a right-back, right wing-back, is either going up the line or coming into midfield. There's positional rotations for West Ham. They're supposed to be the underdogs. But they're playing some really nice football and they're catching Arsenal off guard because of it. Here's Caldente looking to make the difference in this game. Lovely touchback from Russo into Blackstenius, and it's another one well should done better with. But it's a goal for Arsenal. West Ham 1, Arsenal 2. Tidy finish from the Swede striker. Lovely touch from Alessia Russo to set it up. And it's a really well taken goal by Stina Blackstenius. Opens the body up nicely, strikes across goal. Walsh definitely should do better. But it's West Ham 1, Arsenal 2.
Yeah, much better. Good football this from Arsenal. Caldente just brings it forward and it's lovely from Russo. Really good play. Blackstenius does what she needs to do and just passes it into corner. But I tell you what, much better football from Arsenal. Again, they just moved it quicker. It's exactly what they did for the first goal. Just eat the ball on the floor, move it quickly. Bit of skill in the between.
It's a lovely combination, but Megan Walsh.
Yeah.
It's just, at this level, the body shape of the goalkeeper, it's so poor. So poor in that position. Should do better. But Arsenal do well to find a goal. It's a lovely combination in the final third. Blackstenius does well to find the back of the net. West Ham's goalkeeper really should have done better.
Yeah,
Arsenal take the lead.
It's a weird one because what it is that she's not diving and pushing off and moving across the goal. What she's doing is she's kind of just like jumping and diving where she is, which doesn't.
Well, the problem is both shots have been really close to her, but low, and clearly she just can't deal with that. She's setting up to dive across goal or make herself big, but it's just not working.
And I think West Ham will be frustrated because if you ask me, I think Kinga Shemik is probably one of the best goalkeepers in the league with saving, using it with her feet.
Yeah.
Not playing.
That's exactly where you can use their feet because it's so close to the goalkeeper. It's in such close proximity. But yeah, goalkeeper just freezes up and lets it roll past her.
Yeah, simple. But the difference between both sides at the moment is that Arsenal have been better in the final third.
Tidy from Ueki. I think it's been given as a foul throw though. Good opportunity there. Oh, stunted by the fact that it was a foul throw.
I've seen throws worse than that tonight. That's what annoys me. It's difficult.
Brilliant press from West Ham. Turns the ball over hard at the pitch. Martinez, though, trying to rush it into the box. And now Arsenal can break away with Blackstenius up against Amber Tissiak. Tissiak will try and stand her ground. Nice defending. Forces Blackstenius back, but she can use Russo now, who takes aim. That's blocked Blackstenius, bit of a mess. Ford with a chance, and it's a goal. And that was just been given offside.
No.
It was passed by a West Ham player, so it really should have stood. But Ford, that goal disallowed. I want to see a replay, but I'm sure it was a West Ham player and not a pass through the line.
That's not offside. Yes.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Steering comes back in.
I agree. I'm just saying because there's a contact there with Blackstenius on the way through as well. I don't know why Sheeran was playing that pass anyway, but West Ham get very fortunate there because that should have stood.
It's in my aerial fantasy team.
That's why it doesn't stand. Referee realised that, went, no, we can't have that.
Yeah, that one really should have counted. That's a let-off for West Ham.
And a goal over in Manchester City Brighton as Manchester City have levelled a goal from Khadija Shaw, set up by Leila Uahavi.
Wow, I am stunned.
That is a surprise.
Oh, no, is Shaw back? Is Shaw firing on all cylinders?
Reed. I'm not even sure she is yet, and yet she scored.
Because what happened is, like, no one really noticed, but she just put 13 goals by Christmas.
Absolutely. I mean, she scores at least one a game most of the time.
Yeah.
Often 2 or 3. She just ticks it up so quickly.
That's good. That's big for City and Yeglerts.
Yeah.
But that sounds like it's been a really good tactical game between two good sides. This has been probably one of the worst performances I've seen in the final third from two teams collectively in a long time.
Yeah. That's poor from Nystrom trying to play from the back. Like saying can't trap.
Am I right in saying Arsenal have had 2 shots on target and scored them both, and West Ham haven't had a shot?
I believe that is accurate, yes.
That is dreadful. What is it? West Ham taking part in the worst.
No one's created a big chance in this match. It's just been 2 decent strikes from a messy cross, a cross from West Ham that was dealt with poorly, and then 2 decent shots from Arsenal that really should have been saved, and that's what settled this game today. But that is the difference. That's why quality teams and quality players win matches, because they've got better players that don't make the mistakes that Walsh has, and don't give the space that some of the West Ham defenders have given on the edge of the box. But yeah, Arsenal haven't outplayed West Ham in the sense that they've just played so well that West Ham couldn't keep up with them. But they are going to probably come away with a victory. Here's Callante, bursts the box, pass inside, Ford can't quite get there. Walsh with a good bit of goalkeeping.
Yeah,
she does that well.
Yeah, done well there. Came out, got in between the ball and Ford and took it. Well, I think it's really difficult West Ham because in the opposition's final third, they've been terrible. But you could argue
they've had some great chances for Arsenal.
Yeah, but I think you could argue it's a bit unlucky because technically this season they have conceded. I mean, it's worrying, and maybe Megan Walsh has something to do with it. But they've conceded every single shot on target against them.
Yes,
I think sums up the situation they're in.
King of Shemek didn't concede, and then it was a penalty, which I don't blame Walsh for too much. Then 2 goals in this game, she really should have done better with.
She should have taken a penalty though.
It wasn't a good penalty, was it? No. Good point.
And that's the thing, but you have to argue
from Yuriko Ueke, who looks to create a chance now, head away well by little. Callante gets it clear.
And again, you have to toss that one up because yes, they've conceded every shot on target they've faced, but for the oppositions they're facing to score every shot on target they've had is also a difficult one. But yeah, I think that if you put King of Shemek in goal, they might have kept 2 clean sheets at this point.
Phil says, do we need different keepers based on whether Daphne's really not looking comfortable? It's a great point. Van Donsel hasn't looked comfortable at all in today's match. I haven't got any stats historically on her for weather.
The day I see a wet weather goalkeeper, I will never watch football ever again.
I'm picturing like a Rennie Higuita in the tracksuit bottoms,
coat on.
Yeah, they got a padded shirt. Ball through the lines, looking for Caitlin Ford, bursting down the left-hand side. Chance now for Arsenal. Can she pick out a teammate? Could she go alone? Across the box, Mead flashes one wide of the mark. And a chance there for Arsenal. Goes begging once again.
Yeah, again, really good stuff from Ford. Does well initially. I think she just slows it down too much. It's like she knows she's in my aerial fantasy team and isn't allowed to score in points. Mead probably should do better. does well, to be fair, in the end to get the wrong side of the West Ham defender and get in front of the ball.
It's a difficult one, to be fair.
It
to
is a
turn
difficult one.
goal, which the positioning of the West Ham players. I think they're just trying to aim it around the defender in front of her when actually she could be better actually just hitting it forwards and hoping it goes past the player. Because if it's on target, it's probably in. That little handball from Kim Little. Unfortunately, the lino must have closed his eyes.
I mean, that's just it on the arm.
Which is raised.
I'll be honest.
Not sure.
All I want to see tonight is West Ham have a shot.
Typical Khadija Shaw goal, I think. Ball in the box, good header. Enadozi probably could have done better with that.
Fully airborne though. By the way, from Khadija Shaw. Just going flying into shot like Superwoman.
Says Higuita, that's a reference to my days. There we go. Pandering to the audience of one there with Bell.
Yeah, I love the thought of those.
Ball in behind, looking for Caitlin Ford. That one over here.
I love thought of those people sitting there and going, who's Renee Higuita?
I like the idea that Google Trends has just noticed there's been a spike in searches for Renee Higuita. Yeah, seeing that Arsenal disallowed goal, yeah, you feel that is harsh. I memean,
yeah, it's not on the lineswoman because she can't see.
There's a small part of it where Siren doesn't actually play the pass, so I do sympathise a bit more because Black Saints has kicked it into Siren and then it's gone the other way. Siren hasn't played that pass. When you looked at it before, it looked like Siren played the pass.
Yeah.
But it looks like Black Saints has kicked it into Siren. It's gone the other way. I'm not sure the lino saw that or the ref.
It's not on the. I think it's not on the lineswoman. She just sees that Ford's offside and has to give it.
The line's looking for Caitlin Ford. Great tackle from Amber Tisiak. I'm not sure what Ford's complaint is there.
She's got a corner.
There's been a few times where she's complained. But there we go.
And there's a few Arsenal players asking, I'm sorry, what are they on about? It's a brilliant tackle. Just takes the ball away. Onside from Ford. And Tisiak just comes in and gets all the ball.
Yeah. Not sure there's anything wrong with that at all. Great tackle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Arsenal's 8th corner of the game.
8 corners.
Okay. Caldente, ball into the box, header on target, and it's there. And finally, Caitlin Ford with a contribution in this game. The ball into the box, pinpoint delivery from Mariona Caldente, and Ford from close range puts the header past Walsh. And well, that makes for the end of her evening as Olivia Smith is quick to get off the bench and get rid of her bib. But there we go. Arsenal finally make something happen from a corner. It's a lovely give and go between McCabe and Caldente. It's a brilliant delivery from Mariona Caldente. Just putting it, just lying a flat ball in the right area. And it's headed past the keeper emphatically, and Arsenal extend their advantage. It's West Ham 1, Arsenal 3.
It's the first one that Cante's got right tonight, and unsurprisingly it ends in a goal. It's a really good header from Ford, but my oh my, it's poor defending from West Ham. I can't quite work out who the defender is there. But what's happened, she's gone with Ford. Rather than holding the line, she's dropped deeper in order to mark Ford, and obviously then lost the header and conceded. If she holds the line, Ford's miles offside. It's another piece of poor defending, but a really well taken goal from Ford, and Arsenal now have an advantage by 2 goals, which it should be comfortable saying that West Ham are still yet to register a shot.
Oh, it's not the end of Caitlin Ford's evening, but it is the end of Beth Mead's evening as she makes way for Olivia Smith, the first change of the match. And yeah, as you say, West Ham with a mountain to ascend now.
I just want to see him have a shot.
Gory, not sure where she's going there. Puts herself in a little bit of trouble. Gets out of it by playing it forwards. Arsenal now looking to go direct again. Really good touch, though, from Eva Nystrom.
I mean, it must be frustrating. You know, your Wecky, Asai, Martinez. That, you know, they've really not really had anything to work with today and not done anything in front of goal.
Oh, no, they've turned the ball over half the pitch a lot, and the passing's just been a little bit rushed. Perhaps because of the lack of service they're getting when they do get the ball, they are rushing it, but they've got to take a little bit of blame for that.
Yeah, I think they have all, especially second half. I mean, second half, I don't think they touched the ball. First half, they should have been much better. But again, it's another one where we've seen Arsenal have stepped it up in the second half, been much better, much sharper. Just moved all it is sometimes in football is moving the ball quicker. Especially when you're the better side with more quality. If you move the ball quicker, the weaker opposition simply will not keep up with you. So what happened against London City? And when Arsenal get the ball down, play their football, link it together, it works really well.
Yeah.
If anything, in the first half, they should have just stuck with it a little bit. Rather than caving into West Ham and going, okay, we need to play it long. Stick with it, get the ball down, play your football.
They've still gone fairly long, though, to be fair. Double change now coming for West Ham. It's going to be Hanshaw making way. And she'll be replaced by Ines Balumu. And then another change as well for West Ham. And that will be Shakira Martinez making way for Poibel. So a change in the front line as well. Poibel did start the opener.
The only instruction to Poibel right now should be get on the pitch, pick up the ball and shoot.
Wherever you get it.
Well, no, I'll see with it. But
try and link up the play a bit. Try and make something happen in the final third.
Well, of course, but if you're 20 yards, just have a go. If I'm the man, if I'm Ryan Skinner right now and I've watched 65 minutes and my side haven't had a shot, I'm telling every player to just have a go, pull the trigger, because you don't know what could happen. But also just get a bit of momentum going. If they have a shot and Van Donselaar catches it, so be it. You've had a shot, hooray! You've got to try and get some positives coming into the game.
Yeah. It says I'm going to watch Chelsea vs Barcelona at Stamford Bridge in November for our Champions League. I'm hoping to see you both there if you're going. Unfortunately, Harry's not going, but I am. Harry didn't have the loyalty points to be able to get men's Champions League games because when we went before to a men's game, I was the only one. I bought all the tickets. But saying it's in behind, that's one back by West Ham. And now they'll look to play out from the back, overturned up the pitch by Smith. Pass into Russo, now down the line, looking for Olivia Smith. And one back there by Ines Balumu. Under pressure from Smith. Trying to play out, one high up the pitch by Fox, who puts it back in towards the box. And while Smith puts pressure on it, that's deemed a foul, I think, there on Balumu.
What a bizarre 30 seconds that was for Balumu. I thought, initially, brilliant. Shielded the ball from Olivia Smith, which I don't think many defenders can say they've done. Held it up and cleared it. But cleared it straight to an Arsenal shirt, came back to them, made a mess of it, and then got cleaned out by her own teammate and won a free kick.
Excellent. Tissiak. Now Walsh. Nystrom.
I'm surprised West Ham are still trying to play out.
The other very interesting thing about how they're playing out is they're giving a clue to Arsenal to where they're going to go, and it's all Megan Walsh. So what they're doing is the centre-back's taking it. This is quite common now with the centre-back taking the goal kick because you're off to the side. They then pass it to the goalkeeper who stands very central to it. So you don't really know which way they're going to then build up. But what Walsh is doing is receiving the ball and immediately positioning her body to show the way that she's going to play.
Yeah.
And you can see Arsenal are finally reading that and just shifting across that side. And then turn the ball over. And that's why we've seen West Ham really struggle now to build out. When actually they were able to build up with some success earlier on in the game because Arsenal weren't reading that from Walsh.
But now you're up against it against a big side. You just go to the basics. Get the ball down, give it your centre half, play across field pass, get Asayi to hold it up, and then see what you can do. Don't do what Ueki's just done and pick the ball up and just volley it. That's not what I meant when I said have a shot. Because that isn't a shot. It's gone to the corner of the penalty area and then Van Donselaar's picked it up. But again, now West Ham, they did really well to adjust in the first half when Liverpool went more direct, but they haven't adjusted to when Arsenal have gone back to the quick combinations, and that's what's caught them out in the second half. I mean, I'd love to know what is written on that piece of paper that Rayan Skinner and her coach are asking, because how have they not had a shot?
It's a remarkably small bit of paper. So maybe that's the problem. They ain't got enough space for
just right, shoot. All the instructions should be right now.
Full cap.
Go long, play hold up with Asayi and Ueki, and have a shot.
Arsenal looking to play forwards now, and it's Fox driving forwards with the ball, knocks it out to the right-hand side. Here's Smith, drilled into the box. Walsh spills it, but fortunately it's not into harm's way.
Oh, it just frustrates me so much when football teams turn up and don't,
Asayi beats one, tries to knock a ball out to the right-hand side. It's going to drop in there now for Ueki, who needs someone to support her. Holds it up well, now finds Asayi. Options around her, goes to Una Siren, who'll drive it forwards now for West Ham. Again, she needs some support. So it's more like a rugby game watching West Ham try and progress the ball. Oh, it's just one player gets the ball, drives forward, turns around, knocks it back. And then they'll drive forward, so now they've been picked off. Gory loses out to Caldente. Ball forward from Caldente. Zadorsky does so well to get herself between Blacksenius and the ball. And knock it out of play.
Oh, it just annoys you when sides turn up to game football and don't do the basics. Like, if you're West Ham right now, I mean, Asai there got away with one. She tried to play an outside the boot switch to the play. You're 3-1 down to Arsenal with 20 minutes to go. Just do the simple bits. It's like last, Tottenham West Ham was probably one of the worst games. I mean, I watched the highlight. I don't know what I was watching for. There was no highlights. I saw a penalty and a shot on target, and that was it. But I think, again, we spoke about this potentially happening. We said when we spoke about West Ham before the pre-season, is that they were brilliant last season at going forward, but they had to show up defensively. And I now worry that the reverse has happened. In trying to be defensively solid, they've completely nullified any attacking threat they've had. Because we are looking at 2 games where in one game they had 1 shot on target, and in the second game they don't even have a shot.
Poibel. Gory. Managed to drive past Reed. Ball played into the box. But no, not able to find anyone. I was thinking it's been very interesting that they've taken Shakira Martinez and put her wide in this game. Because I think you get more from her through the middle in terms of being able to get shots away. Make things happen. Zadorsky under pressure. She's done really well in this game, Shalein Zadorsky. Looked good on the ball. Done well defensively. Very impressed. Siren. Tisiak. Now Nystrom. Into Denton. Plays the ball through the line as well. Lovely lift in behind. A chance now for Poibel, who tries to take it past Catley. But that touch too deft, and Catley turns over the ball.
But that's better. That's exactly what Gory and West Ham need to do. Take a touch and just lift it over the top. Didn't work out that time, but you're going to get an opportunity from that at the very least.
Manchester City lead in the game. It's City 2, Brighton 1. Yui Hasegawa with the goal set up by Ayoba Fajino, returning from injury. Here's Smith now breaking down the right hand side. Balumu knocks out of play, but it's out for an Arsenal throw. Alex and Nigel.
I have to say,
delighted with that. Well, I mean, Alex reporting like Nigel's delighted with it.
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
I have to say, Hasegawa she got in some very high positions against Chelsea, I thought, but clearly now really showing that goal scoring power.
Well, it was interesting. She's paired tonight with Blencoda Brown. So you'd think they should be playing the deeper role. But
maybe no one's defending.
Possibly. Ball into the box. Bold can't quite get there. Pass back now to McCabe. And it's out wide to Fox again. Now to Catley. Little.
This is textbook Arsenal. What we saw it in game 1. We saw it at times last season. The struggle bit in the first half. Oh, hang on.
Oh, that's nice. And Russo back out to Smith in a pocket of space, who can lift it towards the back post.
Oh, God.
And we thought Nystrom might be aiming for her own net there, but she has managed to miss the goal and put it out for a goal kick. For a corner, sorry.
Another corner for Arsenal. But yeah, this has been Arsenal's bread and butter really across the last season and basically under Slagers is struggle, huff and puff through the first half, can't in the second half, kill the game off in the first 15-20 minutes, and then for the last 20 minutes of the half, just see the game through management mode.
I don't know, I felt there was a lot of games last season where Arsenal would come out the blocks fast.
Really?
Just kill the game off. I remember Liverpool.
They went on that brilliant run at home, but I think away is something they really need to look at.
Against Leicester at the end of last season, they were 3-0 up at half time.
Oh, McKay, what a ball that is! How has no one touched that on? Not even a West Ham player has touched that. Again, they go short. No one is on McCabe. Just like Caldente for the goal. And I think Russo actually might have got a slight touch on it, but what a ball that was from McCabe. Just swung it in low. But no one got on the end of it.
Ball one hard to pitch again by Arsenal. West Ham really struggling to play out now. Here's McCabe. Ford puts it into the box, and that one cleared away well by Zadorsky.
And the double digits are up for corner kicks. Yeah, West Ham are really struggling to just get the ball down and play, but I don't know why they're still trying to do that.
Yeah, but it feels like it's going to be like the London City game again, where this hasn't felt like a 3-1 game until this last 30 minutes. And West Ham just can't play a pass.
Second half has. That's what Arsenal have done really well. Is, the first half, I think 0-0 would have been a fair scoreline.
Caldente to Smith, who can strike it here, but she gets too much lift on it and strikes the Dagenham Redbridge logo behind the goal.
You can tell how West Ham are struggling. They're getting so deep.
Well, they're bringing on Manuela Parvi now to try and drive the ball forwards, perhaps.
The forward goal came because Karen went short to Caldente, who was stood by herself. We saw McCabe put a ball in there because they went short from the corner and she was stood by herself. And just there, they managed to work that ball short from the corner, 2 passes, and Smith was in acres and Caldente was in acres.
Definitely a shape change for West Ham because it's even Nystrom off for Manuela Parvi. So it's a 4-4-2 now. It was a City goal. Tidy from Fagino into Hassett goal. A lovely effort. Just opening her body, striking across goal. Imagine to nestle it in the side netting.
That is football. That goal, it was brilliant.
Yeah, Glatz starting to click, perhaps.
And good to see Fagino shining on my aerial fantasy bench.
As you first sub?
Yes.
Caldente through the lines, and that's out of play. Well, surely you might have someone who doesn't play.
True, that is true.
As
we worked out on Monday's show, I think I had 4 players with a rotation risk.
Yeah, all of your team don't actually play.
Yeah. I think that's why I just named 15 players that may or may not play and then just see what happens.
I've got Rose and Ruben Moy haven't played so far, so that's a good start. I did bench Ruben Moy this week though,
Right.
and started Rose, so hopefully Rose doesn't come on.
Yes.
Ball forward. Lovely touchdown by Ueki into Gory. From Zadorsky into Ueki. Now Asai. Lovely dummy from Ueki. Asai holds the ball up well. Reed fouls her. And now West Ham want to play quickly. Reed, though, blocking it. And so they'll be forced now to take more time over this free kick. Alex says West Ham not creating chances. Should be worrying for Skinner, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's really difficult. I feel like they've never been able to find a balance. Last year they were open defensively but brilliant going forwards. This season they've tried to shore up at the back.
They mixed it up, didn't they? At times last season they were
true.
quite good defensively, but poor coming forwards. Second half of the season they were great come forwards, but they did struggled at times.
It just seems that Skinner can't find that balance. It's difficult to get. I think it can be difficult at times.
I think a lot of people watched them beat Crystal Palace 7-1 last season and thought they were a much better side than they were.
Yeah.
And then that's been carried into this season where there was this expectation they may go up the league a bit.
Yeah.
Problem is, there's not really anywhere to go. They've not done anything major in the market. They'd well to hold on to Martinez, but she isn't in the same form at the moment that she was at the end of last season.
The worry will be that was a purple patch and not a consistent brilliance.
Yeah.
And suddenly that puts you in a bit of bother.
They should have let her go to United for £500,000 or something. They don't have that money, do they? Here's Ford. Looking to get a shot away at goal across the face of goal. But out for a goal kick again. Unable to find the target with that one. Squeezed wide well by the goalkeeper, to be fair. Well, not her finest 77 minutes, but that was a moment where she did well to force it wide a bit. Helped out by Anouk Denton as well. Yeah. If it had hit the target, it would have gone in, probably. But
it's really horrible because I don't like criticising goalkeepers that often, especially when their backup goalkeeper's coming in for a start.
We saw the same with Faye Kirby last week. It's just the standard at the moment.
It costs you at this level. You can't get away with it.
Sounds rising quickly. The problem is, are there enough goalkeepers who want to be a backup option who are at that level? Probably not. Now, Arsenal are annoyed at Manuela Zinsberg at times with the mistakes she makes, but she's a much better option than what a lot of other clubs in this league have as their second choice goalkeeper.
Exactly. I think that's the reason I look at Villa and Brighton, especially Villa, and think they're competitive. Because, like D'Angelo's got injured, and who have they got to start for Chelsea on Sunday? Ellie Roebuck. Rather than Hannah, last season it was Lee or, Poor, who was poor.
I mean, I got to look at Brighton the second half of the season when Bagley got injured, and that was a huge problem for them.
Well, Vidicic chose to start Loic for a bit as well.
Yeah, true.
That was weird.
But they clearly wanted a goal. I mean, Bagley also made some mistakes that led to that. But yeah, they clearly wanted a goalkeeper. They've got Chiamaka and Dozy now. If Bagley came back in, it's not a terrible choice.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. But yeah, not a great time for Walsh. Reed. Now Palova gives away possession too cheaply, and it's now West Ham with the ball. Gory. Palova's come into the pivot, by the way, which is interesting. I haven't seen her in that role really since she came back from injury.
So when did West Ham have a shot? Did we miss it after all that?
I don't remember them having a shot.
There's no way they've counted the goal as a shot.
No, they haven't.
When was the shot? How did we miss it? I'm devastated.
Martinez header from a set piece. Don't recall that.
Oh,
distinctly.
Yes, it was the one where I said she should have flicked it on. Oh, that wasn't a shot. That went 5 yards wide of the mark. That was a clearance. But it was the one where I said she should have just flicked it on and guided it towards the back post. Instead, she tried to send it across goal and just got it wrong and looped up and went out of play.
Equally, Caldente's one that almost went out for a throw was counted as a shot.
Oh, yeah, no, that's silly. I guess they are shots, aren't they?
Of course, that's one thing the end of a cell has so many good keepers. Fair enough. Can't say I'm particularly familiar with many of them. So goalkeepers, obviously, Ann-Katrin Berger's out there, and she's phenomenal.
But it's the reason, you look at all the sides at the top of the league, and you look at their depth in goalkeeper. Chelsea have got Peng and Hampton. Arsenal have got Van Donslaer and Zinsberger. United have got Talis Joyce and Rendell. City have got Keating and Yamashita. Villa have now got Roebuck and D'Angelo. And that makes a difference. Whereas Liverpool, Faye Kirby isn't good enough to be, as a backup.
But to be fair, she's third choice. That's a little different. Because Liverpool have got all of their goalkeepers have stopped.
I mean, how have they always got goalkeepers? Put Yana Daniels in at this rate.
Bring her back from Burnley.
Yeah. Yeah, she's another one that was...
Tries to go forwards there. Goalkeeper, but it's cut out. Forward can't quite get it under her control. It's out now. 40 thrown on this net.
I feel like we're entering that weird stage of the West Ham cycle again. Tough start of the season, not playing well. Skinner in trouble. They're towards the bottom of the league. Are they going to sack
Shakira Martinez's can they find in January?
And then, bang. Suddenly, they're now 6th in the league. Skinner's one of the most underrated managers in the WSL, and they're laughing. That's the problem. I feel like it's that same cycle we go through every season with West Ham. When it's a bit like the men's side. When are they going to just get bored of being a bit bad, but not bad enough to panic or anything?
Well, West Ham this season could go down.
Yes, but then they'll save it though.
Finally hit.
And it's what the women's side will probably do as well. I mean, they're going to be rock bottom. That's a foul.
Here's Manuela Parvi. Looking to drive the ball forwards.
Hit it.
Struck. Now that definitely hit the hand of Steph Catley in the penalty area. But there we go. I mean, what on earth has the referee seen to not give that? Genuinely, quite a blatant handball. And that changes the game then. If West Ham score that, suddenly they've got 8 minutes to find an equaliser.
Big if, but yes.
Drops now for Poibel. Gory on the edge of the box. Can she create a chance? Out wide now to Parvi. Swings it into the area and Zinsberger puts it out for a corner.
Van Domselaar.
Sorry, I've been talking too much about Zinsberger.
Well, I agree with what Phil's saying. Van Domselaar. I mean...
That is so blatant.
It's really frustrating.
I guess you can tell it gets close to the body. I don't know. It's quite clearly the hand. Not sure what the referee...
It's somewhat close, but the fact it's a shot on goal and there's a very large distance between the ball and that, in terms of, it's not close proximity.
Asai, it tries to be flicked in there. Smith goes down. Not sure there's a foul in there. She's been hit by the ball. As Gory says, that's not a foul.
It's like Gory already on a yellow as well. I mean, I don't think that's a foul. It's Gory by No, Gorey heads the ball. It's momentum. I can see why it hurts for Smith, but I think Gorey's a bit unlucky of that one because she's leaned in, she's headed the ball away, she's won the header, and then the momentum's just carried her over.
Hines, tidy work. One back by Poibel. And a bit of bobbles around a bit in there. Little trying to play out. Ball through the line. Shueki tries to touch it around the corner. Parvey trying to close it down. Catley in possession. Ball up the line. And there's a foul in there as Parvey catches Catley and sends her into the sideboards.
I mean, again, it's a nudge from Parvey, but this has been given just because the sideboards are there. And why are they made of brick? What genius came out of that? But that's been given because of the reaction, because she's gone running into a brick wall. It looks worse than it was.
West Ham going all out attack, by the way. Leila Vanderlet on for Una Siren.
They've got her. What a player.
Another very attacking player.
I don't know how they're not getting opened up because they're just throwing loads of attacks on the pitch.
If Arsenal just put on like Hines and taken off Cowder and Taya McCann.
True. That is true. That explains why they're not getting opened up. I mean, I hope Catley's okay here.
Well, so Arsenal just saying they foot off the gas a bit.
I don't think it's necessarily. Again, I like because if that's just grass there, it's not a foul. It's really not. It's not a foul. There's no push or anything there at all. If anything, they're holding hands.
Catley's momentum just takes her into the sideboard.
As I say, if that's not a brick wall there, Catley just gets up and we play on. It's not her fault, obviously, there's a brick wall there. I mean, who's put a brick wall that close to a football pitch?
Welcome to Dagenham. I mean, that is taking the mick there. Hines has gone to take that twice and then just jogged off, and Van Domselaar's going to saunter over.
Where's Emily Hayes at me later? We've sent her off.
Launched forward by Van Domselaar. One there by Tisiak. And picked off possession. And a chance now for a save. Van Domselaar quick off her line. And that's on the roof of the Chigwell Construction Stadium.
Better from Van Domselaar. Came out confidently there. Got out to it quickly. And cleared the ball well. Got good distance on it. Must be difficult as a goalkeeper. To make a big blunder but then have nothing to do because that will still play on your mind. The best thing for a goalkeeper after making a mistake is to get a couple saves under your belt.
Dorski, ball into the box. Van Domselaar answered that well. And a good play.
Yeah.
I don't know what she's complaining about there.
She's trying to set the size in the way so the 8-second count gets reset. But that was just, she ran behind. She was in front of us, so I ran behind her and went, now she's blocking me.
It's Tisiak. Corey. Sprays it to the right-hand side. Carried forward well by Anouk Denton, who shifts it to Poibel. Great pass through the lines into a side. He tries to bounce it into Denton. It's just too far ahead of her. Too over here. That's the right idea.
Yeah, quality in the final third is still letting West Ham down. They're getting the ball into the final third, but I mean, there was a stat at the start of the game. I think it's still true. Their completed passes in the final third is so low because what's happening is they're passing the ball into the final third, but once it's there, they're not making any passes after that. They're not getting the ball further towards the goal. You know, they've got to find a way to get it to link up better in the final third of the West Ham because it's not working at the moment.
Yeah, Steph Catley that will be the end of her game. Running into concrete, Lotte White on in her place.
What football ground puts a brick wall like a few feet away from the touchline?
Yeah, it's all right around the other side, isn't it? Yeah. Out wide to Zadorsky. Balumu under pressure. Dribbles past Olivia Smith, then dribbles back, then tries to play a pass forward. That's not exactly accurate. And a bit of a scrap there between Vanderler and Fox. Gorey goes slamming in. She's got to be careful on the card. Hines Goes backwards into Ubermoy, who will step up well into midfield. Now Hines under pressure again, and she'll go back to Ubermoy. Pass down the line into Ford, who holds the width well. Under pressure from Denton. A pass now back into Katie Reid. Reid forward. Into Smith, who bounces it back to Little. Little looking for her forward option. Again, though, forced backwards. Now Reid, who steps past Harvey well. And now Smith, who turns and looks dangerous in the pocket. Pass across to Russo, who takes aim and fires it home emphatically. A great finish from a wonderful player. And that's West Ham 1, Arsenal 4. That's what you get from a player like Alessia Russo in a position like that. Strikes it well, finds the top corner. And it's West Ham 1, Arsenal 4.
Well, certainly the best goal of the night by a country mile. Really good move this.
Lovely build-up.
From Arsenal. Lovely football through the lines. And then what a strike that is from Russo. Picks it up so nicely. Gets under it. Hits it well. Nothing Welsh can do about that one. That is a very, very good strike from Russo.
Arsenal finally got the space they wanted. By drawing West Ham onto them, they've got the space to attack into. All it took was West Ham to put 5 forwards on the pitch for them to get that opportunity. Asai clipping the ball forwards, headed away by Taylor Hines. Referee gives a foul in there as Asai too aggressive on Alessia Russo. Not sure yet how long we'll have of additional time. Alessia Russo given player of the match.
Really?
The goal and an assist. You have to feel that contribution there was rather important in that. I think it's difficult to pick a player of the match for Arsenal though, because no one's shone. Brilliant tackle from Ines Balumu, and the ref points to the spot. Not sure why, but there we go. 6 minutes of additional time, and it's a penalty for Arsenal.
I want to see this one back because there's not many complaints at all from anyone in a West Ham shirt.
It looked clean in real time, but we'll have a look.
Yeah, I didn't actually see it, to be honest. Yeah, it's not making the fact that no one in a West Ham shirt is very bothered. Yeah, it's a penalty. Doesn't get any of the ball. Just takes Smith away.
Yeah, Smith does well there.
It's textbook.
Balulu's going for the ball, but Smith puts herself between the ball and the player.
That's what she does so well. Balumu has had I mean, it's been exciting. So
she got subbed on as soon as Smith did.
Yeah.
And now Russo with a chance to get a goal from the spot. And, a very quiet evening and start of the season for Russo could suddenly look incredibly prolific with these 2 late contributions.
Chance for Walsh maybe to get a bit of redemption and take something positive from the game.
2 pens in 2 weeks, West Ham, though. Another stat to be wary of. Alessia Russo steps up, fires home emphatically. And West Ham 1, Arsenal 5. And I said this earlier, talking about how we saw in the London City game, where Arsenal added a few at the end and made it look much more emphatic than it was. A 5-1 win tonight. Yes, West Ham have definitely got worse in the second half, but they've made Arsenal look very good.
Game of 2 halves for Arsenal. Yeah. A brilliant second half, like much, much better. They've upped the standard massively, and it's another goal. That's exactly what they need to do, though. They've done very, very well. And again, the intensity is right there now. This is the intensity they need from the start. This is why you start Olivia Smith.
Looking to make something happen. I mean, I just can't understand from Ryan Skinner's perspective the idea of putting 5 attackers on the field. They've got 1 player in midfield, and suddenly Arsenal are just playing through like not even there. It's unbelievable. But 5-1. And now Blacksenius in behind. West Ham's defence exposed again.
Ooh.
And this shot fired past the post.
Yeah, Arsenal running right now. They're moving the ball so nicely. Much better.
You lads with the blue shades on tonight. It's just tough to watch, Phil. I mean, West Ham had a really good first half, and then second half has been awful. Absolutely awful.
Yeah, I mean, I think Arsenal have stepped it up, though.
Sure.
They have. Arsenal stepped up massively.
I don't think they're playing particularly better than they did in the first half.
They were terrible in the first half. They had one shot.
Because West Ham played well.
No, Arsenal got much better in the second half. They've stepped it up massively. Since Smith has come on as well, they've looked so much sharper. I mean, why you wouldn't start?
Yeah, Olivia Smith's looked very good. It has helped in the same time West Ham put 5 forwards on the pitch. And Poyble fouled there, and there will be a stoppage. And a West Ham free kick. Ryan Skinner, a lot to chew over. A tough start to the season against Tottenham. And, well, a very difficult performance in their first home match of the season.
Yeah, they haven't reacted. They did well in the first half. When Arsenal went from trying to play short and went to go direct, they reacted well. But second half, Arsenal have then gone back to getting the ball on the floor and playing football. Moved it much, much quicker, and West Ham just haven't reacted to that. And Arsenal getting it down.
Hines ball in behind, looking for Stina Blackstenius in on goal. And Walsh does save this one. And denies Blackstenius at point-blank range.
Lovely ball out from Hines. Great run from Blackstenius, who times it well. Probably should do better with the finish, but Walsh does well to get a save on the board this evening. Yeah, but just caught into her feet. Tisiak does well to recover. Another Arsenal corner.
Ball into the box, and that's cleared away well by Ueki. And now Vandela can carry the ball forwards here for West Ham. Knocks out to the right-hand side. Asai, and now others join the attack for the Hammers. Ball into the penalty area, and it's cleared away by Reed. And here's Palova. Blackstenius. Here's Ueki. Takes a shot. I'm not sure that was the right decision, but Katrina Gorey can pick up the crumbs, and that definitely wasn't the right decision to shoot from there. Versus Katie Reed's been brilliant. Yeah, she's done really well defensively. That is full time at the Chigwell Construction Stadium. West Ham 1, Arsenal 5. An embarrassing evening for the home side. An emphatic victory for the Gunners, who really found their scoring form in that second half. And now they carry form into Manchester United next weekend, their first test of the season. And that should be that should give us a much better understanding of where Arsenal are right now. But 2 big wins, 9 goals in 2 games. It's hard to argue with that.
Yeah, it's very impressive. I think for Arsenal tonight, it was definitely a game of 2 halves. They first half struggled to get going, but second half stepped it up massively, moved the ball much quicker, and just started to find more and more space as the game went on. Everyone contributed, most people contributing in the end. Russo getting herself 2 goals and an assist in there. Ford getting off the mark. They did well. Second half was much improved, and it was a good reaction. We've seen it a couple of times where a tough first half can then get up against you, but they did well to reset at half time, go again. We saw the change for Blackstenius coming on for Marnham, and although I don't think Marnham did anything wrong, I don't think moving Russo back was the right thing to do, but bringing Blackstenius on wasn't a bad change. Added a bit more to the game, got a goal in there as well. So much better from Arsenal in the second half. But yeah, for West Ham, there's got to be massive alarm bells ringing once again. I feel like it happens at the start of every season. But 2 games played and 1 shot on target across 180 minutes of football is not good enough. Got to be better in the final third. They've got to find a way to be more dangerous.
Oh, West Ham were abysmal tonight. 4 shots. Arsenal had 6 shots on target, 5 went in. The other one was the one right at the end there, where Blackstenius put it right at the keeper. Yeah, West Ham looked fairly woeful. First half they played. They did well first half to hold Arsenal, to make it difficult for them to play out. And their pressing structure as well. But yeah, that's just it's difficult. Goalkeeper clearly isn't good enough for this level.
No.
And the team know that, and that's having an impact. Ransky's bizarre decision to sub 5 attackers on. That's why Arsenal scored in the 89th and the 91st, because Arsenal suddenly just kept passing the ball forwards, and there's acres to drive into. I just can't understand that from Skinner. 3-1, you go more defensive, you make this, look semi-respectable. Instead, they've just shipped 2 goals there for no good reason. They weren't going to realistically get a goal back.
Well, she went for the game. At the end of the day, that didn't pay off at all. And in hindsight, she did get that one wrong. I mean, I don't mind going for it, but going for it is bringing 2 or 3 players on.
2 goals back and to put 5 players up front. That's if there's one.
Exactly.
If you're 1 goal down with a few minutes to go, sure, throw the attackers on. But it was naive from Skinner.
Well, exactly. That's what I said. I don't mind. I think going for the game is absolutely fine if you bring 2 or 3 changes on. But yeah, to make 5 was too many, and just got it wrong. I mean, like for like was fine. I don't mind that. That's absolutely fine. If you're going to bring on 1 or 2 attackers as well as part of that, that's fine. You go a 4-2-4 or something. You go for the game, but it just got absurd towards the end. It looked more like a 3-1-6 at times or a 4-1-5. That's not that was just over the top really, and Arsenal took full advantage of that. But I mean, to face 7 shots on target in your first 2 games and concede 6 of them. That's not good enough. That is not good enough at this level, and they've got to be careful because if that keeps up this season, they're going to be in for a very, very long campaign.
King Ejemi's got a really good doctor.
Yeah,
because they'd have done better tonight with just one of those things outside a car wash. There is more of a chance that might have just caught the ball. Well, sorry, no, I don't want to mean to Walsh, but the positioning tonight from the goalkeeper was nowhere near WSL standard. That she could have saved most of the shots at her. Obviously not the Russo one, and the penalty I'll let her off for, but the other 3 were very much within her, at her. So for lack of a better way to describe it, they were very savable efforts. But yeah, tough evening for West Ham. They'll regroup. Arsenal with Manchester United up next. That'll be a much better test for Arsenal. I don't think they've played representative opposition yet this season. That'll be a really good understanding of where they're at. United looked really good against Leicester. It'll be intriguing to see how good they are on Sunday. But yeah, positive for Arsenal. They started well, but there will be a concern over the fact they have failed to keep a clean sheet in both of the games. I think that's the one dampener on those games. Well, they have started slow in both matches and conceding in that time frame.
Yeah, they have. I think that, I mean, a penalty and an own goal is something that will be ironed out very quickly. That for me, it shouldn't be a problem.
If it was just that, I would agree. I would say there's concern over the way they're building up at the moment, and the fact that then is leading to them losing the ball high at the pitch, and then errors in their final third are leading to goals. That's got to be a concern.
It does, but they didn't face a shot on target tonight, so
No, but that's because of the opposition. So it's one of those. Arsenal will be happy with the victory, but I think it would be naive to suggest the performance was flawless. That's where we'll leave it. We'll be back on Monday to discuss, or back on Tuesday, sorry, to discuss that in further detail with our weekend roundup. In the meantime, we're back with more live WSL coverage on Sunday, so look out for that. Chelsea take on Aston Villa in the 12 o'clock game, and then it's Tottenham versus Everton at 2:30. That was everything from us today. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. soon.